Sandra all the time is here with the cold hard truth. She's the ears and the eyes for me and you. Every day, everyone want to hear from Sandra. And every time on the air, she's getting better. Tell your sister, tell your brother, tell your mama, to call Sandra in the morning and in the evening. They always calling Sandra. And when they start fighting, they calling Sandra.
That's right, folks. Everyone is telling their mama about the cold hard truth. Welcome to another episode with more truth-telling, more problem-solving, and of course, more tea spilling than ever before. Sit back, students, grab your tea and turn up the volume because class is now in session. Call in at 936-2626 because your voice matters. Share your opinion on issues that matter the most to you. Good morning, beautiful folks. Happy Tuesday. Give me 1 second here just to grab our links, send that to everyone in the WhatsApp channel, and then we are going to be off to a running race this morning. Everybody good? Everybody feeling irie? Yes, let's get it, beautiful folks. I got a tech support chat going on here at the same time, trying to resolve a little bit of an issue. So I'll be multitasking, hopefully not for too long, honey child. I tells them, listen, I only got one brain now, so don't be taxing it too much. Yes. Okay. All right. Listen, when all else fails, restart. That's what tech support is basically saying to me right now. Yes, honey child, I understand. Just restart it. Get it working. You know, sometimes when you're the end user, you don't even care how tech support fix stuff. You're like, listen, just fix it. I don't care. All right. Give me 1 second here. Sending out everything to the WhatsApp group, WhatsApp channel. Again, if you haven't joined the channel, please do so. Yes, so super easy. In 3 steps, you can join the channel. All right, don't forget we have some giveaways today. We got some tickets. Remind me, don't make me go the whole show without giving you guys anything. We got some lipstick glosses from a new company out of Kim and Brack. And I got some breaking news here for you in just a minute. You guys know CMR gets us just like nobody else. So we're going to give you guys that here in just a second as well. Somehow I've managed to misplace my spare glasses. I don't know where they are. I've been looking for them. So I like to keep 2 pairs just in case I have this happen where I don't know where the other pair is. Anyway, I'll try to find them today. And I got a closet project underway. Well, I need to start. Talking about it's underway. How about we start it first? That time of year, folks, we're going to clear out the closet, get a donation pile going, and try to make some room. It's feeling kind of tight these days. And I'm going to be honest with you. Guess who is encroaching on my side of the closet? All of a sudden, Marlon has a whole new section again. He used to complain that he only had one section of the closet. Now he's somehow acquired a little bit extra space for more shirts. And I'm just like, really? All right, let me disconnect from this network because I think I always get a better. Excuse the hair. It's a little bit messy today. I don't know what to do with it. I'm going to the salon this afternoon as well. She's going to hook me up with something. A little bit of color and then just a treatment. That's all I do these days. All right. So good morning, one, and good morning, all. Good morning to Shaka Zulu. We got Siobhan bright and early this morning. So good to see you, Siobhan. Stephen Nicholson joining us from the UK. Miss Ethel is in the house. Good morning, Miss Ethel. She says, good morning, CMR family. I got my foot roller going. Played a little bit of squash. I keep calling it squash lately. Played a little bit of pickleball last night. We got some evening lights, although Marlon claims that we need more lights, honey chow. He's like, those two are not enough. I'm like, ugh. Anyway, we played a little game last night, had some friends over. That was loads of fun. Now, listen, we're not playing games at the moment to keep score. We're just playing games. We're just playing, hitting back and forth to allow people to get a little bit of practice and to also get a little bit of exercise. Miss Emma, Everton, Irvelin, three E's in a row. Aliano is here. He says, no heat today. Well, I can't guarantee it because after yesterday morning, honey child, we turned right up. Miss Debbie sending out morning greetings to Zeus. He's relaxing in his kennel. Yep, trying to encourage him to eat some food. Apollo, yeah, Jay says, I love your program. Keep doing it. Well, thank you. Not sure how many of y'all heard yesterday's ending of the show, but anywho, it was a little bit cray-cray. Kim Unkind, good morning. Olivia's here. Lynette, good morning to you. Richard Newton in the house. Joining us at Texas. Am I right? Something Texas. Round River, Texas. It's a tongue twister, whatever it is. I can't remember now. Strong Wilt says, how are you doing? Don't make them draw you out. Say, child, please. Every once in a while, I think it's a good idea for people to draw me out, actually. Ooh, honey, child. Some people say, Sandy, you be stressing yourself out, making your pressure go up. I said, no, actually, it's a release for me. Because I'm one of those people, you know, there are people in life who should never hold anything in. I'm definitely one of those people, honey, child. It's not good for any of us to hold things in. Bad for your little ticker. It's bad for your pressure and bad for your heart to hold things in. Sometimes you just got to tell people what you think. And well, yesterday when, you know, Hunter decided to call me, he called at the wrong time now because I was sitting here listening to his nonsense and it was like 9:30. I said, ooh, honey, child, we off radio now. Don't you be doing that when we off radio. You can try me on radio and you might get away with it up to a point. But then believe me, when I tell you, I clicked off that radio feed so quick and put that little boy in his place. Couple of things you're never going to do to me. Number one, you're never going to question my integrity and how I earn what I have. Because I've earned it. Nobody not giving me nothing. And you yourself out there with 7 failed businesses talking foolishness to me. You ain't going to do it, honey child. Nope. Not today, Bobo, not next week, and not the week after that, or not ever. Total disrespect. And, you know, I've been sitting here for a minute listening to this young man with his nonsense. You know, everybody has an opinion, just like everybody has a you know what. And so at the end of the day, I was trying my best to just let this boy talk, but he don't make no sense. 99% of the time, he is just missing the mark. And when he decided to insult me on top of it, because, you know, I let a lot of y'all miss the mark. That's your opinion. You're entitled to it. Like I always say, even a broken clock is right twice a day. You know, it can sit there at 5 o'clock and it's going to be correct at 5 a.m. and it's going to be correct at 5 p.m. And it's still broken. You're not going to work any other time. So I give a lot of people leeway to say whatever they want in the name of freedom of speech. But what you're not going to try to do is use your so-called right of freedom of speech to accuse me of any kind of foolishness. But I'm a sellout to CUC. Sean, please. I wish I was a sellout. Where did my foot roller go? Oh, man, it went all the way over here. I wish I was a sellout to CUC because then maybe I wouldn't have to pay a bill. Somebody need to tell me how to sell out so I can get free electricity. Y'all are ridiculous. Really and truly. You know, y'all can kill CUC all you want. I'm going to invite you to go anywhere else in the world and have some real conversations about electricity. Go to Tampa and tell them you want competition with their electricity company too and see what they're going to tell you. I mean, let's be fair. I'm only about being fair to people, and even our corporate citizens, we have to be fair to. Man, I love it. I'm sitting here reading some comments about the skateboarding situation, and every single problem we have in this country. Oh, yes, DART can solve it. I'm like, this would be the same DART that y'all spent all this time cussing out and making them feel like they're the worst corporate entity in all the Cayman Islands. But yet, just because the man has money, you want him to solve all your problems. Oh, he can solve housing. That's what Hunter said one time too, remember? He said, let DART build low-income housing. I'm just like, okay, let me try to follow the logic. Y'all already saying he owns too much on this island. You don't want him to have any more. When I say him, I mean the organization. You don't want them to have any more of a stronghold, blah, 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 blah. But yet, every problem, please fix it. Fix education, which we're going to be talking about that hot mess here today. Fix low-income housing. Fix this, fix that. Let him buy the electricity company. I'm like, well, y'all brackers soon we get an increase too. So I wouldn't be jumping on that bandwagon too quick because that's coming. Y'all think it's easy and cheap to run an electricity company? I'm not even getting into that discussion today. But your increases are coming over in that direction. So yes, he wasn't drawing me out. He was talking his usual smack and foolishness. And it just happened to be 9:30. I remember yesterday looking up the clock and it said actually 9:31. And I said, oh, goody, goody, goody. We're officially off radio. And I've been holding my tongue. I've been reading the nonsense that he's been posting on social media, clout chasing, trying to get attention for himself because he wants to run for public office. Y'all need to find a different formula for running for public office because this ain't it. Right? Yeah, all of a sudden you're a savior. You're everything to us. Where you been, son? We've been needing a savior for a minute now. Oh, yeah, just because you're going to waste your $1,000 and put your name on the ballot. That's what this is all about? Well, I'm not fooled by such cheap tricks anymore. Maybe there was a time, I don't know. But I tell you what, I reckon he got an earful tomorrow. And the lesson is don't ever come for Auntie Sandy. When you start to question somebody's integrity with absolutely no reason to do so, you don't know the sacrifices that I've made and how hard I have worked over the past 20-something years on my own. You know what I'm saying? And I had no mama, no daddy to give me nothing. Shoot, they didn't even give me a last name I could use. Cha. They certainly didn't give me any pigmentation that I can go out there and claim white privilege. Lord have mercy. They didn't give me one of those good last names in Cayman. Boy, what I could have done with I don't know, what name would I take? A Colonel? Could you see me as a Colonel? I would take in Colonel, Foster, even some of the Bodens. Wattlers, if you're on the white side of the Wattler family, you get a different treatment. What are the last name would have been good? Oh, McTaggart is good. The Arches, yeah. Give me a last name that I could just like kind of walk into things in life. Nope, that didn't even happen. They're like, boy, her people from down in the east, honey, chill. Listen to me. Don't make no difference where you come from is what you do with it. Don't let anybody discredit you, especially when they don't even know what they're talking about. Okay? And they got some cry story instead of them doing what they need to do. Every single generation has had to make sacrifices, I'm not going to necessarily say that the people in the past had it any better than us. And I know a lot of you think that. Like, oh, we can't afford a home. We can't do this. When I sit down for Cayman Voices and I hear the stories of our people who in those days had to break apart the Caymanian family in order to survive, or men went to sea. This wasn't some big adventure where they were like dying to go out to sea to see the world. They didn't have a choice. It came down to nickels and dimes, shillings and pounds, right? That's why they went to sea. And they left. Some of them went barely legal age, right? Went off to sea. Some lost their lives. They were leaving mothers, fathers, siblings, young children, wives, everybody behind in order to be able to make a living and send something back home. That was a significant sacrifice. And you know what? They still weren't building no mansions. They were still, I remember when I interviewed Mr. John Douglas and listening to his story, and he was talking about how, There was I forget the gentleman's name now in Northside. Might have been Mr. Chisholm, I can't remember, who was kind of like his mentor and helping him. And he's like, Sandy, every single paycheck, the majority of my paycheck, I would send home and just have a couple dollars left over to try to survive on. And then finally, when I had enough, he said, son, you can start a little foundation on your house. Right? So they didn't jump up like, oh, yes, I'm going to build a 3,000 square foot house overnight. Give me 2 months. No, they would save for years. They would nickel and dime. They would send their little shillings here, pounds there, whatever. They made significant sacrifices. But you see, our own people, especially our young people, don't even know their own history. So they don't have no clue. Right? Well, okay, man, you're not going to be able to have nothing in their own home anymore. Do you know how hard it was 50, 60 years ago for Caymanan to have anything in their own home? It has never been a walk in the park. Right? And I get kind of tired of the constant complaining with no solutions. And I know, God knows, we do enough complaining here in this program. We're no exception to that. But you claim you want to represent the people. Let's start talking about some solutions. What are your ideas? What are you going to do? And don't come to me with half-baked, nonsensical solutions. Because if you think I'm going to sit here and listen to that foolishness and not respond to it, then you obviously don't know me for real. Y'all need to be changed. This is the biggest problem now, is that we have elected too many people who've never been challenged. They've never been put to the task. So, when we start to ask them questions, they be getting all offended. They be getting all offended. But Sandy, you be trying to stress me out and attack me. I'm like, asking you questions stresses you out and you feel like you're under attack? Oh, okay, that's because you got such an easy ride in. It's time that we put these people, hold them to accountability, even before they get elected to public office. We got to know what we're getting ourselves into. Morning, Ingrid. Good morning to Miss Beulah. Yes, you know what I'm saying? Listen, one thing I cannot stand is fake people who ain't got nothing going on. They've never proven themselves. And listen, every young person, you have to kind of go through the ropes, But your forefathers, like I was just saying, a lot of them, depending on what side of the track they were from, made enough sacrifices. So don't come to me as a 25-year-old asking me what I was doing when I was 25. Because I'm going to be straight with you. I was hustling just like every other Caymanian, trying to get a mortgage because nobody wasn't giving me property. Nobody wasn't giving me a house. I'll tell you all a story, right? I remember when I bought my little apartment, the owner said, okay, I can't remember how much we even bought it for, but they wanted whatever, X amount. And it was about maybe $10,000 or $15,000 more than the valuation. And they were like, no, we got, we got hold tight on this. And I can't remember if it was the valuation. I don't think it was the valuation. I think it was more or less what the bank would finance, like what we actually qualified for, not the valuation. And so we had to do like a side deal with them for a couple of years where we were paying off the difference directly with them. And then had the mortgage on top of it. And these are the things that you do, folks. The sacrifices that you have to make. You see, as someone who came from nobody special, who, by all accounts, well, she's not going to amount to nothing. She'll never have a little piece of paper, this, that, next thing, because people pigeonhole you, for sure. They tell you what you're going to become. They tell you who you are based on where you come from because they think they know what your whole story is going to be. Enough challenges out there, folks. And I want to encourage every single person, young, middle age, old, you set your goals and you come up with a sensible formula. you can make things happen for yourself. It's not easy. Believe me, you. Man, I told y'all, I went to Tampa the other day, and Tampa has a lot of bittersweet memories for me in a lot of different respects, right? Because it forces me to remember a time in my life when the struggle was like, it was real. When you don't, when you legitimately, I look at people now, including myself, carrying a few extra pounds, and I could eat food from now till next week and never stop. But when you're in that position where you legitimately do not know day by day where your next meal is going to come from, that's not a good feeling. And to put things in perspective, there are always people who are worse off than you. And I've always tried to, what's the word I'm looking for? Just keep myself in a real zone by saying, you know what? There's somebody better off than you, probably a lot of people, and there's somebody worse off than you. Keep focused. It could be worse. It could be better. And you just have to keep moving. But there's some of you who have no clue what it feels like to go hungry ever. Hold on one second, folks. Quick support just asked me to do something here that I'm going to have to beg Marlon a favor this morning. Okay. But don't let it in the body. What they say, you know the person's glory, but you don't know their story. And I'm not looking for any sympathy. This is not a sympathy party. I'm not sharing this with y'all because I need anybody to sympathize with me. You have to get over it and get on with life. Believe me, you. Whatever trauma you've endured, at some point, you just have to get on with it. And if you're not able to do that on your own, that's why I encourage people to get professional help, because it's very important. Can you just flush the Cloudflare cache for me, please? All right. Yeah, so, you just get on with it, quite frankly. That's why sometimes I guess I'm maybe a little bit tough, You know who gets my sympathy? Children. I'm I'm firm with children because I think they need that consistency. But I'm also the biggest, I'm going to listen to you as a kid. You want to talk? I want to hear what you have to say, right? Children need to find their voices in our community. But they also need to know the realities of life. You don't get everything you want. You need to understand that a lot of times you're going to hear no, and that's okay. I was saying to Marlon's cousin when I was in Tampa the other day, he's very, very firm with his son. He says a son is different to raise. I don't have a son, so I can't speak to it. And I think boys sometimes have a different kind of pressure than girls. But I remember saying to him, the one thing with children that they have to learn, because this is a life lesson for all of us early on, is you have to learn how to accept no when somebody tells you no, because you'll have lots of rejection in your life. And that's very, very difficult. And you also have to learn how to say no. Those are two equally important traits in this world. Being told no and having to tell others no. And they'll keep that ability will keep you in balance. Leanna, good morning, darling. Okay, Mankind says what they don't understand is they make tons of promises during the election. Once in, it's the chief officer who calls the shots, which shouldn't be. Well, Miss Amelia, you're not going to change that. And in some respects, it's a double-edged sword, because politicians don't have the power that they think. But I think if they went into it being more realistic, and if they actually knew how the system worked, right? This is where they need to learn. Because yes, the civil service has a lot of power. Chief officers have a lot of power. But politicians have to know how to work within that system. And that's why the ones who haven't even taken the time to explore this, and when they get in, they're like, oh, politicians, civil servants, it's not. I'm like, you mean you didn't know this before you got in? They need to learn. And I want to hear solutions, real solutions, with them understanding the constraints in which they will operate within the civil service. So don't promise us a pie in the sky when you can never deliver a pie in the sky. Right? Now, to be fair, there is a lot that they can do. That is why yesterday, when I heard, this is kind of what kind of, had me going, wait a minute, Hunter. When I heard him say that the government should just take the skate park from these people who just bought it and do whatever, I'm like, wow, I want y'all to listen to me. Because elected officials, if they don't understand the basics of, they don't have to have a Harvard business degree, but if they don't understand commercial environments in which you operate, you know how quickly you can destabilize a country with that type of thinking? You elect a few fools in government who go around with this rhetoric that we can just take private property and do whatever we want with it. That is extremely dangerous. And although he is as green as he wants to be, the fact that he could even think that as he thinks it's a logical response to solving a problem that government has sat on for such an incredibly long time, to me is just flabbergasting and shocking. That's why we have wasted millions of dollars right now on the Regen project. And they're throwing out the baby with the bathwater because they don't care about commercial sensitivities. They don't care about contracts and agreements. You know how much money government has had to pay out because MPs, ministers don't care about the validity of contracts, including when they tried to interfere with civil service workers and fire them and whatever for no good reason? Go and calculate the millions of dollars that the civil service, aka the government, aka the people of the Cayman Islands have had to pay out. Because Makiva Bush gets in there and he can't work with anybody with a skirt that he's not under. Look at his track record of how many women he has gotten rid of, from Angela Martin. You just go down the list. There's a long list of them that he's done it to. And in every single case, government has had to pay out probably millions of dollars because those women were nowhere near retirement age when he did that. And you can't do that without paying a price. But it's the mentality that you need to look at, right? I can't speak specifically to what an MP is going to do. But what I do know is when they get in there thinking that they can just, because they're the government, that they can interfere with contracts and take people's stuff, that's a problem. And that's essentially what he said yesterday. And I'm thinking, wow, if we think we got problems now, I can assure you that we can have some serious problems if we continue to allow people like that into elected office. Every different person that comes in, they want to treat the validity of a contract differently. No, that's not how it works. You'll be sued from now into the next century. Let's pick people who at least have a little bit of common sense, understand how business works, and at the very minimum is not going to put us in a worse position that we're in now. This person said yesterday, they sent me this message yesterday evening. They said, in relation to the exchange with Hunter, they said, proud to be a generational Caymanian when I hear you telling people about their fill in the blank radio folks, good and proper for the ish and wrongdoing that is going on in our country. You have more steel balls and backbone than Margaret Thatcher. Well, I don't know about that. You go, girl, call out those crooked and whatless son of a that we have in our midst. Wish you and your family a mountain of continued success. We have a comment on Instagram. Thank you, Instagram folks. Welcome. Good morning. Honey Bunny 345 has the following to say. I need to get I told you I'm going to get new glasses, so I'm going to try and get that soon. I just have to wonder why a single mother with 4 kids that has shared her struggle in Cayman as a Caymanian hasn't gotten a mention on your show or page with a GoFundMe. A GoFundMe has been shared with you. Well, it hasn't been shared with me. It may have been shared on the page. I don't actually know, but as I've told you guys a million times, I don't read. Now I hardly ever check the social media messages. So if you're not messaging me directly in my private number, the chances of you talking to me are actually pretty slim. So let's put that out there first. And I've said it before, and I need you guys to understand that. And those individuals, we get, questions for GoFundMe, this, that, and whatever all the time. So I can certainly check with our administrators and see if they know anything about that. The other thing is a lot of times things will go into the spam folder and they don't get seen. So the next question I would ask is, did the page respond to you? Because normally you at least get a response saying a couple of things. Here's Miss Sandy's number, message her directly, or okay, we'll look into it. It might have been put on the community page, because one thing I don't want the CMR Facebook page to become is all about everybody looking to, put up every GoFundMe, this, that, and the next thing. That's not really what the page is for. We do a certain degree of that, but we've set up a separate community page that is properly for that reason. Now, the other question I'm going to ask you, and you're not going to like what I'm going to ask you next, is why do you have 4 children? Why do you, as a single mother, have 4 setting up a GoFundMe page? You see, our people are not ready for the cold, hard truth. And the cold, hard truth is this. Y'all don't think I could have had 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 children by now? I know y'all are over saying they must have couldn't have got pregnant. No, it's called birth friggin' control. Use it and use it wisely. I'm not going to tell y'all not to fornicate, because God knows that's a pipe dream. Caller, good morning.
Good morning to you, Sandy. Your show we had needed years and years and years ago. Listen to me. I know you would listen. If the salaries of these MPs and whoever else they think they can go in were down to half of what they're getting, and the perks that they're getting, believe me, it wouldn't be so many people. I can run for office. Okay, they do know the meaning, or some of them do not know the meaning of representing the people the right way, because a lot of them have families that they don't even take care of. And believe me, I'm running one up and down now. That husband gone long time. But yet we call them kind of people representatives. Unfortunately, they're overpaid. That's what I have to say. And then another question I need to ask you. Do you know if when you have a church service at the airport park, do you have to pay for that? Or I thought that was only for people taking their children, especially in this summertime, taking their children to the park, taking them at night. But this was at night. We went there to sort of scout it out. I was going to take my nieces there, and there was this big church service going on. Why can't they continue to have their church service in their churches?
We're gonna touch on that a little bit this morning. Stay tuned.
Oh, okay. Okay. I thank you.
All right.
I thank you, my dear.
I appreciate it so much. So as I'm sitting here, asking you, why you have 4 children, the response is it's not about having 4 children. It's about why you as a paper Caymanian should be getting what? Let me read this comment, make sure I'm understanding it properly. It's not about me having 4 children. It's about Cayman not having my paperwork as a born Caymanian in order to get this stupid acknowledgement paper. So what's the GoFundMe for? I'm not clear. And if you're a Caymanian, getting the acknowledgement paper, I don't understand when you say about Cayman not having my paperwork. How is Cayman supposed to have your paperwork? As someone who has had to, I mean, you need to explain yourself here, because as someone who's had to have my daughter acknowledged, you're the ones who provide the paperwork to immigration, not the other way around. Immigration doesn't provide it to you. You see, listen, if I had to be honest with you, there's a lot of Caymanians who have a sense of entitlement. Someone just sent me, I noticed your comment that it's a special circumstance. Someone just sent a thing saying some question about saying that, oh, this is the prison officer who died in, how did he die again? You'll have to forgive me, but after a while, I can't remember. There's so many of them. I think this was the car accident. Okay, so I am a little bit confused, because what I'm going to tell you again, I'm not here to protect you from the truth. And if you ask me questions, I'm going to have to tell you the truth. I actually did see this over the weekend. And let me tell you what people are sending me in relation to it. You ready? You ready for the cold hard truth? This is what I was getting. People asking me to investigate the GoFundMe page. See what this person said? Please investigate this, because as far as I'm concerned, he was a civil servant, married to his children's mother. If I'm not mistaken, I thought they had their own house. What did she do with the pension money? Her and her kids are supposed to be covered by Synico. He was government employed for over 4 years. He even had heavy equipment trucks as a business. He should have had a half decent pension. So it's not him. You're saying, and no, it's not the same thing about the dead guy. Okay, so you're not related to him. Then you need to explain what your situation is. But I'm still going to put it to you. I don't know how old you are, but you got a sweet little face. You look like you're young enough. Why do you have 4 children? Nobody in their right age in this day and age is having 4 children, because under no circumstances can you afford 4 children. I'm going to give you a perfect example this morning of a doctor, millionaire wannabe doctor, who couldn't afford the children that he had either. Y'all need to understand, just because you can have a child and push them out doesn't mean that you should. You need to be sensible about building your future. And that includes understanding something called family planning. Now, you will never hear me tell a young person, other than my own daughter, do not engage in sex before, God, I wish y'all would wait till you're 25, because y'all not ready. But most of you, you'd drop dead if that was what you had to do. So I'm not going to tell you all that. What I'm going to tell you is the more sensible solution that's going to work. Let's sit down and talk about safe sex and birth control, because we need some lessons around here. Don't have 4 children. You can't afford 4 children. You know how lighter your burden would be with just 1 kid? Okay, so then the next argument is, well, the kids are here. What you going to do about it? You still, even at 35, you still can't afford 4 children. I don't care if you were 100. In this day and age, you can't. There's a lot of reasons why it doesn't make any sense. We don't have the family structure that we used to have. And I'm not trying to get all in your business. But when you say something to me like, I must message you and I must do this, you see, that's where I know that you lose in the plot. So maybe you need to get with me in my inbox. Really? All right. Here's my number, girl. I don't know who you are, but I'm going to give you my personal number this morning, because I obviously need to hear the full story to see whether or not I will be able to help you in any way, shape, or form. Because putting a half-baked story out there, and I don't know what your story is, but putting a half-baked story out there where you're just like, oh, I've set up a GoFundMe page, I just need help, doesn't cut it. My number, take your time, is 324-1612. Reach out. If it's something that I can help with, if you have the right attitude to go along with it, then I'll see what I can do. If I can't, I will definitely be the first person to say, sorry, I'm not the one. All right. So if it's not this situation with this young man, then we'll see what it is. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Sandra. How are you doing today?
Not bad, honey. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm all right.
Yeah.
What strikes me regarding what you were saying about, the closing of the Black Pearl and unwise statements made by, Mr. Hunter there. I agree with you 100% that, and I think anybody who has a grasp of history in the Caribbean region, and where I'm going to speak directly to Cuba's history and the revolution and the taking away of private enterprise, that was part and parcel of Castro's revolution, that it harkens back to that sort of belief system coming to the fore. I agree with you that as it is privately owned land, it is nonsensical to call for either the government or a private group of people or anybody to try to take away that after the fact. The horses already bolted the barn in this regard. But I would say this straight off the bat.
We have a solution, Just because we can't have it there.
If you don't mind, Sandra, please. Let me finish saying this.
Mm-hmm.
If you are a student of history and you actually study the history of Cuba and the history of the injustices that occurred in Cuba prior to that revolution, a revolution which was only successful because of the peasants of Cuba supporting a man like Castro, specifically because of the injustices, specifically because of the tourism industry being overrun by American mafioso, specifically because of the injustices perpetrated by the big sugar barons of Cuba at that time, who have now taken up their place in the Everglades of Florida. If we look at all of that history, there are so many parallels to what we have going on and have had been going on here in the Cayman Islands for the last 25 years. We should not be surprised that we now hear this type of rhetoric coming to the fore. And one more thing, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you or anything, Sandra, but one more thing. There is a correlation between the very name itself, okay? There was a book by Mr. John Steinbeck called The Pearl, which spoke of a young man who found a giant pearl. And the moral of the story, the parable of the story, speaks to finding and having something that comes to you just by way of good fortune, which in all reality is a curse. And it ends up destroying the family. It ends up with all kinds of tragedy as a result of that. And anybody who understands that parable can understand that that is also pointing towards Cayman's position today. Okay? When I was a young man, that place was not what it is now. And I grew up skateboarding. I grew up skateboarding when it was not sanctioned. I grew up skateboarding when I had to find places to do it. But that place was far more valuable to me when it was a bunch of snooks and tarpons and sprats and white wing and bald pate. But that's just my personal opinion on the matter. But let's just look, Sandra, let's just look at the way minds are beginning to turn as a result of what we have watched and or allowed happen here in Cayman overall. I agree that it is unwise for Hunter to say what he has said. But at the same time, let us look to why we now see these ideas being put to the fore. And I think if we're going to address these situations, we need to look at the cause and the effects.
Okay.
And I'll also point to this, the lack of teaching the youth in the Cayman Islands real history, actual history, giving them the opportunity to learn from history. Because if a place and a people does not learn from history, that place and that people are destined to repeat it. Anyway, what were you saying, Sandra? I'm listening.
Okay, no, that's okay. I just want you to finish. I need to go back to what I was saying. So
yes,
if you're done, then
I'm done.
Okay.
I'm done.
All right. Thank you very much. Okay. Someone has, and thank you guys so much for, somebody says, remember to limit the callers. Somebody, thank you guys so much for sending me the clarification, because I was a little bit confused here. The only, thing that I've seen recently, WhatsApp is GoFundMe page, my apologies, and is in relation to this young man. And I've gotten clarification. Somebody says, no, that's a different case. They said this person's name is Daniela McLaughlin. She belongs to Dave McLaughlin that works at DH as a garbage collector. She left Cayman for a while, went either England or London. Well, London is in England, folks. Let's catch up on geography. And now come back for only God knows what. It falls down to priorities. That's all I'm going to say, is what this person just said. Okay. All right. Well, I now have the GoFundMe page. And it says, my name is Daniela Iverson Nee McLaughlin, a single mother of 4 kids. I was born in Grand Cayman, adopted into the US almost 20 years ago. Due to the laws changing in the Cayman Islands, I am needing to prove that I'm Caymanian as well as American in order to even get work or get help to put my kids into school in Grand Cayman. The Cayman Islands government cannot find my paperwork that I need to complete my submission to get my acknowledgement, which has caused me to have to come to Florida to get my records unsealed and bring the paperwork back to the island. What paperwork would you be getting unsealed? I'm not sure that I understand that. So, Daniela, here's the thing, 936-2626. You can call in and help us understand what that is. They don't ask you for any paperwork that anybody really, you should have to go to any great lengths to get. You just need to prove you're saying you were adopted and they don't know who you are. My goodness, if it's Nee McLaughlin, obviously you're for somebody named David McLaughlin. It shouldn't be hard to prove that that's your daddy. So all you need is a birth certificate. Was he ever in your birth certificate? If he wasn't, I understand you can get a letter from him. You can get DNA tests now that would confirm that he's your Caymanian connection. Why is that in question? So I'm not so sure that I understand this. So you're in Florida and you can't get a job in Florida? It goes on to say, let me have you guys read along this morning. What were you doing in the UK, by the way? How long were you there for? I know a lot of y'all love to run to the UK because you think that's where the honey tree is. And then you find out like everywhere in the world, there's nowhere in the world that you can go and not work unless you're a prostitute, and that's still work, honey child. You're still doing something for it. Or you can get something for nothing. And the UK government is starting to get wise to you Caymanians going over there, trying to use them. And they're not tolerating it either. And they're putting pressure on you all to prove and provide and this and that. So I notice it. Now if y'all run over there, yeah, boy, I love you. I love the UK. Things so much easier and cheaper and blah, blah, blah. And then you turn around and run right back to Cayman. Why? Please explain it to me. Because it don't make no sense when y'all was talking about that's where the honey pot is. That's where the pot of gold is. You see, no matter where you go, the formula for success and survivability remains very much the same. All right, you came with limited money, which is almost done already. And let me be clear now, if you're saying that you're a US citizen, right? Because you say that I have to prove that I'm a Caymanian as well as an American, who are you having to prove that you're an American to? Because here in Cayman, we don't give two cahoots if you're an American or not. But if you're in the United States of America and you're an American, are you telling me that you're not entitled to any help from them? Okay, so now you're saying that you're back in Cayman. You were adopted in the US at the age of 12. So now you're back in Cayman. So when you wrote the GoFundMe page, you were in America? Because here it says that you're in Florida. So maybe we need to update that because we need accurate facts, Daniela, to just try to understand what it is that's going on here, because naturally people are going to have questions. You see, long gone are the days where people will just pay for stuff or help you out without asking questions, because you know why? Too many people, and I'm not accusing you of this, Daniela, but I'm just saying too many people, and you can call the show and explain it. 936-2626 is the show number. You can call on WhatsApp. Too many people have been trying to take advantage of the good hearts of people. And they always use the fact that they have children to do so. That's what I'm telling you. The first question people will ask me when I reach out for help on your behalf is, why does she have 4 children? You think I'm joking? I'm not joking. I've had people message me for help. Oh, I've got 3, 4 kids, another one on the way. And the very first question that's asked of me is, why is this woman pregnant again? You're already struggling with 3 or 4. Why are you pregnant again and think you can use that to gain her sympathies? People are not doing it anymore. So I need y'all to listen very, very carefully to me, right? Call the show number on the WhatsApp, because this number is not going to come through on the board. I need y'all to listen to me when I tell you this, okay? Having children is no longer going to get you anything in life except a lot of obligation and a lot of work. So don't have them thinking that because you have them, people are going to be in a position to help you, because they're not. They're not as sympathetic as they used to be. So you got to break this down, because there's over 500 people listening now. I'm sure some of them might want to help you, but you need to explain what is going on here. Daniela, good morning.
Oh, I definitely can. I definitely 100% can.
Okay.
So since you want to jump and talk about my children and this and that, let me explain to you something about my children. Okay. I've never needed nobody or nothing to help me take care of my children until I came back to Cayman. I came back to Cayman due to a personal matter that was happening with 2 of my children that were here in Cayman. Because in 2020, when this law started coming about that we needed to get acknowledged as Caymanians, which is a stupid thing. Let me pause you
right there.
But I get it, because there's a lot of paper Caymanians.
That's that there's no such law that came about in 2020, but just hold on a second. All right. Nobody's saying anything to you about your children.
It came into play.
No, it didn't.
It did come into play. It had not been finalized, but it came into play. Daniela, I know, because when COVID hit, I tried to get help from NAU when my job was made redundant at National Trust.
Daniela,
you're not telling me something that I don't know, Sandra.
Daniela,
but
I have an 8-year-old that was born in 2016 that needed to be acknowledged. That has always been the case for umpteenth years. It's just that in the last 10, 15 years, people have been asking for it. There is no law that came in 2020. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, honey. Your child needed to be acknowledged due to different reasons, because your husband is not Caymanian. But anyways, that's not the point. The whole point is this. The point is when I was working in National Trust, when COVID hit, I went to NAU and they told me that they are now requiring that we need to have an acknowledgement letter. I said, okay, no problem. I went to the registry to try and get my birth certificate in order to get this paperwork. They cannot give me a copy of my birth certificate. Long story short, my records are sealed because I was adopted 20 years ago. I was adopted by my birth father's birth sister into the U.S. So not that my ties into the U.S. are not still Caymanian as well. They definitely are. What the problem seems to be is, since registry has moved buildings multiple times, they do not want to admit on paper. They admit it to be in person, but will not admit on paper that the records from those years that I was adopted have been lost. So they cannot issue me the paperwork that shows that they sealed my records because of me being adopted. I have had to go through the process of having to go back to Florida to apply to the court in order to get my records unsealed. Does that make sense? Now I have to go back to Florida to pick up that paper, because that's the only paper that you can pick up in person. You cannot get that mailed to you unless the judge orders it, and the judge would not order it to be sent via mail because it has a lot of personal sensitive information in the file. So with that being said, I don't even know what's in that file that's so personal and so sensitive that not only one country, but 2 countries had to seal it. America sealed it because that's their laws. Cayman says that's also their laws. No problem. Both are supposed to be able to issue me paperwork X, Y, and Z. Cayman cannot find none of their paperwork for a born Caymanian that they've had records of for forever. So it is not that I need you guys to donate to my GoFundMe. I'm asking for the little bit of extra help, not because I can't work. You understand? I can work. but I cannot work legally here in my country, which is work that I am capable of doing. If that makes sense to you. I've been offered positions by Maples. I've been offered positions by Flow, where I used to work that still cannot onboard me. Why they can't onboard me? Because of this acknowledgement paper. I cannot get the acknowledgement paper due to me not having a copy of my birth certificate, which they cannot provide me. They cannot provide me the adoption certificate in place of the birth certificate because they lost the paperwork that they need to do so and refused to state that they did. Does that now make sense to you?
No, it doesn't. I mean, I'm not understanding what you're saying at all. Number one, I still don't know anything about no 2020 law. There are people in the comment section who are saying that I acknowledge my children in the 90s. I had to
if you're saying something, Sandra, I can't hear you.
But I'm not sure why you can't hear me, but I'm saying that this thing with this 2020 law, I don't know what that's about, but okay, let's move past that. Okay. My question is, you're trying to say that you were born in the Cayman Islands. Yes?
100%.
Okay.
I was born in a car.
And you're saying
October 13th, 1988.
You're saying that the registry office here, which maintains all birth records and so on, can't find your birth certificate?
No, it's not that they can't find it. They said my records are sealed. Well, if you sealed my records, there was paperwork.
What do you mean your records are sealed? Hold on. When you say records are sealed, right? I can understand
my birth certificate records.
One second. I can understand adoption records being sealed in the state of Florida. Normally that's done to protect whoever gave you up for adoption or whatever that situation is. Maybe their identity needed to remain private or whatever. That's a possibility. But you can obviously, which sounds like you're doing, is unsealing that. I'm not sure what that has to do with obtaining a birth certificate in Cayman, because your birth certificate just doesn't disappear because you've been adopted in Florida.
That's the question that I've been asking. That's the question I've been asking. And the answer that registry keeps giving me, but will not give it to me on paper and keeps promising me, they're going to have someone email me, explaining it to me in an email. This has been from like 5 months ago now. They still haven't emailed me anything because they don't want it on paper. They are saying that my birth certificate records are sealed because I was adopted. And because of that, they are supposed to be able to issue me an adoption certificate. When I went back to get the adoption certificate to show that I was Caymanian born but adopted into the US, so that my birth certificate is null and void, they are saying they cannot issue me the adoption certificate. The reason they can't issue that, Sandra, is because they lost my paperwork and don't want to admit that they lost the paperwork. And multiple people have told me they can't find those files from that year.
What year
I'm not the only person filed.
What year you said you were born in? What year were you born? 1981?
88.
Okay.
1988.
So I was born in 1973, and I can get a hold of a birth certificate at any point in time. They didn't lose that from 51 years ago. I do find it hard to believe that anybody has lost your birth certificate. That doesn't make any logical sense. So let me do this, okay? I'm gonna make a couple phone calls today. It's still 8:30, so that department hasn't opened up as yet. We need to get on the email, and there's a young lady, I think her name is Cindy, that works in the registry that is very, very professional, extremely helpful. Let's ask her a few questions, send her an email. You're asking for your birth certificate. Let's find out what the procedure is. They don't lose birth certificates. I'm telling you, that hasn't happened.
It's not the birth certificate, Sandra. It's not the birth certificate. You're misunderstanding what I said. It's not the birth certificate that they lost. They are saying my birth certificate records are sealed. They cannot issue me that.
So what have they lost? Because you said they lost something. You just said they lost something.
They are supposed to issue me an adoption certificate.
No, but you said they lost something.
The paperwork, what they lost, if you would listen, the paperwork that they lost is the paperwork they used to seal my birth certificate records. That same paperwork is supposed to be used to issue me an adoption certificate. They can't find that paperwork that they used to seal my birth certificate, but they can tell me that my birth certificate records are sealed and that they can't issue me an adoption certificate because they can't find that paperwork. Yeah, it's a whole debate and debacle, and this has gone in front of the deputy premier. This has gone in front of even the deputy governor. Like, I was only just literally not trying to have a debate with you over something so minuscule as me having 4 kids this morning. I was simply just inquiring as to why I haven't gotten someone to at least reach out to at least hear about my side of the story, or
here's
try and help me figure out what all this is.
Here's the problem,
because
Daniela.
you're supposed to Caymanians, are you not?
Hold on a second. When you lead, and go back to your comment, what you said to me, when you lead with this comment that I just have to wonder why a single mother with 4 Caymanian children that has shared her struggle in Cayman as a Caymanian hasn't gotten a mention on your show. When you lead with that, why do you think logically I would not be asking you about the 4 children? That's what you started with. And that's also what you started with in your GoFundMe. So that means that having 4 children is obviously relevant to your struggle. That's why I asked you. Now, there's a lot of people sitting here, Daniela, listening to your story. They're just as confused as I am. My WhatsApp messages are blowing up. And they're also speaking about the rude tone that you have come on the program with here this morning. So let me make a suggestion.
Absolutely. But Sandra, you need to understand the problem that I have, and why I came at you with a rude tone is because check out what you were saying. Check out what you were saying to me. Oh, well, why are you having 4 kids? You should keep your legs closed and this, that, and the other. If you're going to come at me like that, of course you're going to get that response. Right.
So I'm saying
you're going to get that response.
Now your story sounds
like a natural reaction.
Your story sounds like it really doesn't have anything to do with your kids at all. So, but that's what, like I said,
my kids. Okay, let me tell you why it has to do with my kids, since you obviously didn't read my entire thing, nor the update. Let me tell you what it has to do with my kids. 3 out of my 4 kids cannot register here in Cayman to go to school because I need to get them acknowledged. Even though 2 out of those 3 were born here, 3 out of my 4 children born here. 1 already goes to public school. 2 were being homeschooled for reasons of my own. Why they were being homeschooled, because the system was not up to par with being able to assist them with their education level that they needed. Okay, now I need to put those 2 kids, now that I'm back on island, I need to put those 2 back in school. I cannot do that because they need this acknowledgement letter. I cannot get this acknowledgement letter for my kids because, for one, everybody's the first question before you even ask it, everybody's going to ask, well, what about their fathers? They're non-existent, non-factors. The last one, my daughter, yeah, her father does what he can. He just cannot afford to go through the route of having to pay for a DNA test to prove her Caymanian through him. That's fine. I'm okay with that. That's okay with me. Even though we're both Caymanian.
How much do DNA tests go for this? I mean, couple $100?
Someone told me it was $100. I'm not sure. I haven't inquired because he is also not said it.
How much did you say?
I was told it's almost 500. I am not sure. I haven't gone anywhere to go and do it because when he said he can't afford it, I just left it there. I am a type of person, Sandra. I take care of my kids by myself, with or without their fathers. Their fathers are not going to stop my kids from being able to go to school. None of that. That's not going to affect that. So I am doing what I, as a mother, need to do for them. So in order for them to be acknowledged as Caymanians, I need to be acknowledged as a Caymanian. I can't do anything for them. I had to push and go to politicians to help me, this, that, and the other, for them to get higher connections for any youth to even accept an application from me to try and assist my kids. It's not even me I'm asking assistance for. I just need to be able to assist my kids, help me get them in school, help me, somebody needs to help me somewhere. So I was reaching out to all avenues that I could find to try and get some type of assistance, to get some kind of juggling going on with this government for them.
Sorry, the connection is breaking up a little bit. Hello? Hello? Uh-oh. All right, I don't know if
of them not being able to provide them with the paperwork that they need.
Sorry, we weren't hearing you for a couple seconds there.
Yeah, I was saying I'm not the only Caymanian who's been adopted that is having a hard time getting our paperwork acknowledged because of this thing. I was also made aware that they are trying to look on working on some type of reform to the adoption laws because of the same type of issue. So it's not that I am not moving forward with things without help on the GoFundMe, but it would be nice to have a little bit of assistance from somewhere to get things even further rolling and get things to the proper state of where they need to be. Me as a person, personally, I would have never created this GoFundMe if people who were around me and seeing my everyday situation didn't advise me to do so. I am not the type of person who wants to go out there asking for help. And the only reason I called in to you is because I didn't like the fact that you were basically trying to say that I should have never had 4 kids and Ray and whatnot. I never have an issue with my kids. I never have an issue raising my kids on my own. And I've never had an issue holding a job. Anybody who knows me knows that. With that being said, like I said, I've been offered 5 different positions and none of them can onboard me without this acknowledgement paper. All right, I really want someone to do is find out why.
And we're gonna find out, right? But let me ask you another question. They say your father is a Caymanian, without a doubt, right? So you mean to tell me that you
definitely my father is Dave McLaughlin that works at DEA.
Yeah, somebody said that. So you can't go to him.
They said because he signed his rights away. It's because he signed his rights away because I was adopted. That doesn't have anything to do with that. You could go to him, get a DNA test. That's what they told me.
Prove that he is your father and get your acknowledgement through him with a DNA test. Signing your rights away does not mean that somebody isn't your biological parent. And so the only thing that they need to acknowledge you.
I get that.
Is
that's what they don't get. Because I was told that even if I do that, I need to provide a birth certificate showing that he is my father on the birth certificate. For what reason? I don't know, because his DNA proves that I'm his child. So I'm not sure why they still giving me a hard time with that.
All right, give me some time. I'm going to ask a few questions in relation to this. All right. Now that we have a little bit additional information, give me some time. The other thing I'm going to recommend to you is for that last child who you're saying that her father's saying it's too expensive to get her acknowledged, I would recommend, heaven forbid something might happen to him, you need to get that done. All children, I was telling you, I did my daughter when she was months old in 2016. All children, until the government finds a way to permanently resolve this so it's not needed, should have that acknowledgement from the time of birth. Just do it as part of the paperwork you do when they're born, and then you don't have to worry about ever repeating it or doing it again. Get it done for her as well.
She was born in the US during COVID. So yeah, that's why.
But you said her
only
father,
just returned home in December. Her father's Caymanian.
Then get him to acknowledge her.
I left here in 2020. Everybody knows. Everybody who knows me knows that I left in 2020 when COVID hit. I left and I had my daughter in Miami. Because like I said, I do have dual citizenship. So do all of my kids, except for my daughter, because I need to prove her Caymanian for her to have her Caymanian part of her dual citizenship. But they all automatically get it under me.
Someone's asking if isn't your mother Caymanian? Why can't you get acknowledged?
Sorry, I didn't hear you there, Sandra. What did you say?
Someone is asking if your mother is also not a Caymanian and why you can't get acknowledged through her. Because you have 2 Caymanian parents.
My mother's also Caymanian. My mother lives in the UK since 2019. My mother lives in the UK. My mother is Caymanian. Yes, I have 2 Caymanian parents who have Caymanian parents, but my mother is in the UK. She's in the UK since 2019. So it's a little difficult to get paperwork back and forth from the UK with my mother being in the UK not working and me not being able to work here to at least send that money that she needs to get that paper notarized and then the money that she needs to send it.
All right. Leave it with me. Let me ask a few questions. Before you go, I'm going to call France Matterson. Government is not in the business of giving us like personal information about people, but I might try to ask him a little bit about your situation, whether or not he's aware of it. Can you give me permission to contact the registry and others on your behalf? But I also need you to send me your email address so I can copy you in on the email.
Absolutely. I'm just trying to get some traction with this, Sandra, because I've had to go through hoops to try to prove paperwork that Cayman should already have.
All right. Send me your email address on WhatsApp.
Okay. This one or the other one?
Either one is fine. This one doesn't matter. I check them both.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. All right. Thanks.
Have a great day.
All right. You too. Let me give France a call. Now I know he's never going to give me any personal information to anybody, but I just want to ask him about these types of circumstances. What would be needed? So I'll give him the hypothetical that fits her situation. All right, the registry I don't think is opened yet. Let me see. Is it 8:30 or what time do they open actually? Is it, what time does government open? 8:30 or 9? I can't even remember, child. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Sandra.
Morning, dear.
I'm listening to the program, and my wife and I have just gone through a very situation you're speaking about, where there is no birth certificate of a person, and you're trying to get them acknowledged as being Caymanian.
Okay.
We ended up doing the person's mother, the one that we're seeking the acknowledgement for, did not regularize the paperwork when she came back to Cayman with her daughter. And now the mother has passed away. Luckily, she had 2 full sisters, and we went and got DNA test done between the 2 sisters and what would be their niece.
Yes.
And that proved that it's 99.96% certain that she is whom we say she is. And we did that because we could not get a birth certificate for that person.
Yes.
And the matter is now in cabinet hands.
I mean, at the end of the day, right? I mean, it doesn't matter who you get it from, technically. Obviously, it's normally the easiest place to get it from her 2 parents. So, you know, she could easily get a DNA test from her dad. You got some feedback coming in on your phone. I'm not sure why. But you know, she could easily get it from her dad, and I'm not really showing why that's not a possibility. She's saying, oh, the mom's in the UK. It's like every solution that we're suggesting, there seems to be a roadblock in terms of that solution. Let me call a few people. Thank you for that suggestion, caller.
No, one more quick thing. It is the cost is $500
for the DNA test. Yeah.
Yes, and as far as the statement that she likes to look after her children's affairs without asking for help in the case of the father of one of the children, if she really wants to help the child, then she is going to say to that father, you got to give a DNA sample.
Absolutely.
Anyway, thank you.
Yeah. I mean, first of all, I think we need to get past this where as women, we think that we need to be having children, that, we can handle it on ourselves. Then why on earth are you laying down with these men? I'm going to just be asking you very frankly, what good are they to you? Why are you having children with them? I would never have a child with a man and then be like, oh, no, I'm good. I'll take care of the child myself. No, you help to bring it here. It's a 50-50 gig. Good morning, caller. We need to change our mentality, right? Stop volunteering in your head to become single parents by multiple men. It's not good. And I'm not, it's not about you're unable to take care of your children. It's that you shouldn't have to do this on your own. That's why legally, they have an obligation. And every time you get with one of these jokers and you let them off the hook because they believe that they can lie down and have a woman have children for them and never take care of their child, because they can't afford it. They're not got no job either, blah, blah, blah. Let me ask you how many children, how many other women he's done that to. Because you're not helping them man up and be real men in this world either. You're helping them think, oh yeah, I can go lie down with a woman, have a child, and yeah, I'll give you $25 here and there. $25 can't even buy diapers. Morning.
Morning, Sandra. I was listening to the whole conversation between you and the young lady. And all I could think about was, this is the reason why a lot of people talk about entitled Caymanians. After all of that, and the rudeness and the attitude she had to you on the phone, right? Not even a thank you. Just have a great day. Not even to say, well, sorry for my rudeness, but I'm just frustrated or something like that. Right? Have a great day. Like, she's the one doing you a favor. Anyway, try to help her.
Yes.
No,
let's see.
Try to help her.
Yes. All right, darling. Let's see if we can't get to the bottom of this here today, because this is all kind of mixed up and then some. I mean, this shouldn't be entirely complicated. So let's see what we can get to here. What time does general registry open? Does anybody know? 8:30. So somebody should be answering the phone. Let me see if I have Cindy's number, because she's always very, very good over at general registry. I'm trying to remember. I think I dealt with her with my daughter's birth certificate. And by the way, anybody who's listening to this and you have children, always make sure you have not just one copy, but multiple copies of birth certificates. Right? I went in, I got about 5, 6, 10, because you never know when you need one. General registry. Listing officer. No, that's not who I'm looking for. They're not answering the phone. Let me try and find a direct number. General registry. That's civil registry. Hold on. Let me tell it exactly. General registry. No other. All right. General registry. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to find anybody's email. It's not coming up in this inbox. Hold on one second. General registry. Okay. Good morning, caller.
Morning.
Morning, dear. How are you?
Not bad.
Okay. Good.
Listen to what the young lady was saying about her adoption. But her adoption is not what entitles her to have acknowledgement from work.
No, it isn't.
About
It's her
Caymanian
Caymanian.
status.
Yeah.
It's a birth certificate.
Yeah.
And so what you need is, you need your birth certificate, you need your parent or grandparent birth certificate, because it used to be that it was only a grandparent that you could get it through. But I don't remember exactly which year, but I think it was maybe 21 or somewhere around there. They included parents.
And to be
So,
clear,
in
this
other
is
words,
nothing new that people are having to do.
This requirement came into existence on the 27th of March, 1977.
Yeah.
And the reason it came in is a good one. So people who are making it seem as if this is terrible, if you think that this is terrible, what you should ask yourself is, well, why is this necessary? It's necessary because we're a colony. In other words, being a colony is the cause of this. This is just a symptom of being a colony. So if you want to address this problem, where you don't need to get any acknowledgement, you have to address the cause of the symptom, not the symptom itself. But I'm not going to make the conversation about that. Birth certificates are public documents. Anybody can buy anybody's birth certificate. So she doesn't need her mother to get her birth certificate so that she could deal with it. She just needs to go to general register, fill out a form saying what her mother's name is, full name, date of birth, and they'll look it up for her.
Okay, let me make some phone calls. Leave me there, Danny.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, let's make some phone calls.
Please leave your name and a message.
I tell you what, this is one of the issues now with government is trying to get somebody on the phone sometimes. I know exactly who I want to talk to, the young lady. She deals specifically with this area. I think her name is Cindy. Hold on one second. Trying to go back and see who I got assistant. I don't know about answering this phone this morning. Come on, government people, wake up now, honey child. That's called WRC.
The number you dialed is temporarily out of service.
Jesus.
If you feel that you have reached the
Government disconnects their own direct numbers? Really? Huh.
The number you dialed is
Okay. Mess.
Hello, and thank you for calling work. Please be advised that all calls may be recorded for quality assurance. If you know the extension of the party you are trying to reach, you may dial it at any time. Otherwise, please listen to the following menu options.
Somebody says they open at 9, but the website said 8:30. So maybe they need to update the website. I don't know. A few people said to give that caller a kaboom about the lack of gratitude. All right.
The customer you are trying to contact is
Lord Jesus. Does nobody answer their phones in the morning anymore? I mean, all right. Well, we'll make some phone calls after the show. Let's talk about education. We have half an hour left. Good morning, caller.
Morning, Sandra.
Morning.
I'm in the comments and I'm here reading all what people are saying. I understand, and we, the Caymanian people, need to understand the frustration of this woman. Doesn't matter if she has 4 kids. We are coming from a generation. Yes, I have 1 child, so I understand, and I am a mother who is also a single mother, not by choice, just because of death purposes. So my question is, if that was me, who is a generational Cayman, I can put my family back to 7 generations ago. this young lady, I understand that she called through, or maybe the way of her approach was not in a very proper manner. But understand this, we all have some dark side to us. There's dark sides to many of us. I've seen it in you, I've seen it in myself, I've seen it in other people who are heads of organizations. And I mean, I've even seen it where we see the professional people behaving this way. So for her to understand, for people to look in and say, oh, there's no, the child, she's not a child, she's a woman. She's frustrated. Mm-hmm. She's in a matter right now of life that she feels desperate and also embarrassed. That's an embarrassment when you have to get up and say, boy, I have no other choice. But tell me now, had she been a drug addict, a thief, somebody who was worthless and didn't want to work, what would they have said about her then? Oh, she called in Sandra because she wanted help. Listen to me. You see, our people, we need to fight for our people. Sandra, you fight for your people. Mm-hmm. And let me tell you, I understand that, yes, she might have not approached you in that way. I've known her. I'm not saying that we're perfect. Mm-hmm. But we need to understand her level of frustration. Now, I don't feel that she is that incompetent or she's that lack of knowledge that she's sitting down on this show this morning to say, okay, here's my problem. I want to voice my problem. She's maybe not voicing it in the way that we understand completely. But there has to be some sort of accountability for the department of running this young lady around to the point that she has to go back to the state to retrieve this information and coming back. And I want to say shame on the people that sat down on that show this morning and tried to bring down that woman when they know that there's people in their families who they cover up. Maybe she doesn't have the support. And yes, there's people who are desperate. And I'm going to say this to you, Sandra. Your platform is a voice. And that's why the young lady I have seen from myself where that you have your stories, her storyline has included you, people have tagged you, and it's okay that it was missed. I understand that. And I can understand where her level of frustration is coming from by saying, okay, I've been trying to reach out and y'all just finding other topics. And the topic this morning was about Hunter. We don't give a shit about Hunter. We want to help this young woman so that she can put her 4 children in school. She can also provide for her children and not be a product of society where she is depending on government to do everything. And I think anybody who finds this finds it another way, they're just as bad, and they should look down upon themselves. And
I think a couple of things are going on here, caller. And thank you for calling in and saying that. A lot of people saying, give you a kaboom. I think the other angle to this, right? So we do have to remember that, especially when people read things, and this is why sometimes I say, yes, just pick up the phone and call me. Tone and attitude is everything. Yeah. Yes?
Yeah.
So when you say to someone, I need your help, you know what old people would tell you, and they're true about that. They say, humble yourself when you're in the position asking for help. And that also means that how you approach people, regardless of your frustration, you have to humble yourself, right?
And maybe
so when you say things like, you must call me or you better inbox me,
I understand that, Sandra, but I understand too that.
I think that there's 2 sides to this, and there are a lot of people who are obviously in agreement with you.
There's the truth, and there's also
no, and I don't even mean in terms of that, how people are seeing this. I think that there's an equal number of people who are saying, yes, we understand her frustration. We understand that she's in a situation, but watch your tone, because there are thousands of people right now listening to this show.
You know what is also hurtful? That this young lady has expressed, and she had to come to you, Cayman Mall Road, because she has went to officials of the government and she's went to MPs in our constituency, and they have looked at this girl as if she's not. And then you gonna expect me now to get up and go vote to these people come 2025? Excuse me, I want to say this. But I don't wrong her for her. I don't wrong her for her behavior, but I also don't wrong her. I don't agree with the way that she approached you, because she's looking at you as her
she's frustrated. Yeah, I mean, she shouldn't be frustrated at me. I don't even know anything about this situation.
Exactly.
You know, take your frustration out when you go to the polls.
I can understand where she's coming from, because she's saying, okay, Sandra, you are headlining so much things that go on. And that's the truth, Sandra. I will not go and deny that. You headline some things that I am like, damn, she got it. She's got it good. But I'm going to say this to you. Yes. At least she can say that Sandra is there. Sorry, I lost track of what I was going to say. Anyway, the young lady is not wrong. She might have approached the situation wrong. She might have went to the right and wrong people. But I feel that we, the Caymanian people who are always sitting down about entitled Caymanians, that child is an entitled Caymanian. I don't give a crap if she's been adopted. She is a Caymanian. And if she cannot afford a $500 DNA test for all 4 of her children, that would be $900 that she would have to prove. Sorry, that's not even $900 because
she's just saying, well, no, she only said the one. She said the other ones, obviously, they're not good and they're not even probably interested in doing that. But she's saying the last father, now he's just saying he can't afford it. We've confirmed that it's like $400 or whatever. But my point is this.
It's $500. And if the father is the child, if you have multiple children and that child is those children are for the same father, then it's $100 more. Listen to me. I did a DNA test of my child's father with my child's father. You know why I did it? Not because he's not a Caymanian, but I did it because I wanted people to understand that if anything came up, and I withdrew his blood the day of his autopsy, because I said it doesn't matter if you are married or not. Prove these things, because you have the families, you have the society that loves to look down on people, and you can pull that out and say, listen, I know who my child's father is. I don't need and I think that I'm going to leave now, but I'm just saying, for the people who look down on this girl.
Everybody should have an acknowledgement. I mean, for more reasons than one, it is important to have, the father acknowledged for that child.
And I'm going to say this to people, if you didn't know, all of you who have kids in school and you talk about this same thing, this same acknowledgement is going to be the reason why you need it, because your kids are going to need it for college in order to attend university or any local institution.
And do it now while it's straightforward to get. I mean, don't wait until it becomes complicated.
That was another thing I was going to touch on.
That's what I say.
People have to understand as well.
Yes.
Sandra, I just wanted to say, people have to also understand as well that not everybody is tech savvy. Not everybody can. And you have to pay, when you're going to these people who are the professionals to do these jobs, they're not charging $2 or $200, or they're not doing it on pro bono. Yes, there's people, but then how long is that process going to take? And I think the people who are the tech savvy and the professionals in this institution right now that probably on this live, they need to go out there and help the girl. Yes, she approached it, but this might teach her and humble her to become a better person and to know how to handle situations. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, my dear. Appreciate it. Everybody says to give her a kaboom. All right, let's try gender registry. Their website said they opened at 8:30. People claiming at 7. I mean, I don't know. I can only go by what's on the website. So let's try them now to see if anyone is actually going to answer the phone. Civil servants, can y'all please start answering your phones? This is the one singular complaint that we get all the time, that civil servants do not answer the phone. I mean, why? Lord have mercy. Okay. Let me see here now. What is Cindy's? I know for sure. I think her name is Cindy. Is it Cindy or Linda? Anybody has a number at General Registry that they might actually answer? General Registry. I know some people on the corporate side, but that's not really their thing, but maybe they can transfer me. All right, hold on. Registry. Let's try this young lady. She's a senior assistant registrar. Maybe she can help. Y'all should be ashamed that I'm calling all these numbers. I can't get nobody. I mean, not for nothing, but don't worry. I got a mobile number next. It's work mobile, so they should answer that. No, sir. Mm-mm. Mm-hmm. No, man. Y'all purposely not answering this morning. Got another number.
Good day. You have reached the desk of Sheena.
43. Hold on. 43.
This number does not subscribe to a voice mailbox service.
Seriously?
Please try your call.
Good day. You have reached the desk of
No, man. General Registry. Somebody please email them and ask them to answer the phone. Let me send an email. Good morning. Is there a phone number where I can reach a live person this morning at General Registry? Anybody? Please. Thank you so much. Kind regards. Thank you so much. Anybody, any number, really. No, sir. Who's head of General Registry? Out of curiosity. Who runs that department? All right. So, all right, somebody's going to send me the entire contact list so I can call everybody. All right, somebody said try this other number. Did I try that one already? All right, let's try that one. Donnie Dixon. Who the hell is Donnie Dixon? They answer the phone after 9. It's now 9:12, honey child. Walk into 8:30. They answer the phone after 9.
Hi, you reached Donnie Dixon. I'm sorry.
So that's the director. Oh, he's not answering either?
Right.
Oh, Jesus. What a mess. Okay, so nobody's answering. All right. I will keep trying. Let's talk about education. There's a serious issue that's happening in education, and now we've eaten up most of the show's time, but let me just put this out there. I don't know what exactly is going on, but it seems to me and seems to a lot of people in the system and parents, they're asking a lot of questions around this, and the ministry and the department needs to clarify what is happening. This is what people are saying. People are saying that if you're not a Seventh-day Adventist, likely an expat, you're not going to get very far in education anymore in terms of upward mobility and promotion. So one of the reasons why a lot of Caymanians leave education is because they don't see very many of them getting to assistant principal and principal position ever, no matter what they do, no matter how much education they have. The other day, we had an issue with Georgetown Primary this last Saturday. The uniform store, I know some of you saw this on social media, not being open because the facility had been rented out to some Seventh-day Adventist church or minister or something for some sort of function. Okay. All right, parents, you know, uniforms, normally the last week of summer, the mad rush is on to get your kids sorted. Hopefully you got school supplies maybe earlier. Uniform stores are only open a certain amount of time normally. I found it hard to understand and hard to believe that a government school, not a private institution, but a government school, the last weekend before school starts would rent out that facility to anyone. I don't care if it's Seventh-day Adventists, church wearing Adventists, church wearing Sunday keepers, it doesn't matter. Ask yourself the logical question of why a school would allow their facilities to be rented out that last week when they should be focused on school prep. Teachers should be in there doing their last little bit of preparation for classroom prep, whatever. The school administrators themselves need to be doing their final walkthrough. They should have done it the week before, right? Just in case anything needs to be working. Clifton Hunter, the air conditioning wasn't working during the summer. They mad rushed last week, went and fixed it. Hopefully, come when the schools start back tomorrow, it will be working and it will stay working because they know there's an issue with the air conditioning. Supposedly, they're going to fix it during the October break. Okay? Schools, school principals, y'all need to organize yourselves better than you have been. And the fact that I was receiving complaints on Saturday to say, oh, you know, the school uniform shop is closed is absolutely ridiculous. You know that last weekend, because this is what parents do, that there will always be a degree of parents and a good number who are there to do their last minute little shopping for this summer. Some people don't want to buy it too early in the summer because they're like, honey, child, my child's still eating and growing. So, you know, he might gain a few pounds in August. So I'm going to wait until right before school starts. Tell me, why would the principal, Sharon Campbell Danvers and Jenny Rivers, I don't know who Jenny Rivers is. Who's Jenny Rivers? She's a school principal or she's the head of business services for the Department of Education. Why would you allow your school premises to be rented out over the weekend? Now, don't call me a conspiracy theorist when I tell you that, of course, she's Seventh-day Adventist, because I just told you that apparently that's all they want to hire now. I don't know why. And then on top of that, her husband is the pastor of the Seventh-day Adventist Church in Savannah. You can't get much more convoluted when it comes to nepotism in the system. It's too much of this. The finger is being largely pointed at Miss Moncrief, whatever the heck her name is, Lynette, because she's a big-time Seventh-day Adventist. Since she has taken over this area in the ministry, we have had a significant increase in the number of Seventh-day Adventist people that are being hired. And I'm telling you, it's not just Caymanians that are complaining. I've had the few Americans that are in the system, the few British that are left, the few Canadians, they come and they say, Sandy, if you're not Seventh-day Adventist from Jamaica, the chances of you getting hired into the school system now is 0 to 0. Even paper Caymanians in the system have come to me complaining about this apparent unevenness of the number of Seventh-day Adventist people now being hired. So much so that they're like, Sandy, this smacks of some kind of nepotism that just does not make any sense along religious lines and then around nationality, neither of which, unfortunately, is helping Caymanians. We need some answers. Like we need an FOI to see exactly how many Seventh-day Adventists y'all have hired up in these schools. There is a man, let me give you another example. He's an assistant teacher at Clifton Hunter. Now, why y'all can't find Caymanian assistant teachers is really beyond me, to be quite frank and honest, okay? I got a phone call last week, again, saying, Sandy, can you look into this guy here, Mr. Farron, and find out why he is allowed to work from home? Now, his name, hold on one second. His name is, what's the first name again? Miko something. Somebody remind me of the first name. And again, Seventh-day Adventist pastor, honey child, got a big time YouTube channel about how he's a Seventh-day Adventist pastor. He has, let me see. His first name begins with an M. Somebody help me out with the first name here. He was actually arrested by the authorities for assaulting his girlfriend. Listen to this, sus. Oh, here he is. His name is, hold on one second. Yes, he does pastoral videos and stuff. His name is Pastor Markian Farron or something. I'll get the correct spelling because as it turns out, whoever does his YouTube channel has misspelled his name. Some channel thing called Flashpoint Media Ministries. Markino Farron, that's the name. Markino Farron, Calvary Seventh-day Adventist. He says he's a pastor now, okay? Pastor man beating up the girlfriend. It actually wasn't her that reported it, but it was like the hospital staff or something when she went for treatment that actually called the authorities. You know what they did? Assistant principal, again, I don't know why he doing an assistant principal job here in the Cayman Islands, why we have to import them. But Mr. Assistant Principal gets the opportunity to work remotely from home, still being paid and still working. Now, I can't give you any updates in terms of the criminal case because I don't know where that case is now. What I do know is the police got a hold of it. The matter was being investigated. And instead of putting him on leave completely, they put him in a remote position. How does an assistant teacher work remotely? Like, what exactly would they be doing? You see, there's just so many questions about exactly what is happening here. It just doesn't make any sense what is going on. As they say, there are more questions than answers. There's allegations again last week of again, Miss Monteith supposedly giving people connected to her in very close relationships working underneath her, and y'all need to stop the familial nepotism, right? Oh, they got an increase that nobody, a salary increase that nobody can explain. And so as a result of that, complaints are being made. Does the anti-corruption unit need to look at this? You know, last week, there's something that I said that you civil servants need to really take to heart. You should not just be concerned with the legalities of a situation in terms of, okay, can I legally do this? Can I legally hire my boyfriend, my lover, my husband in this position? you should also be thinking about the perception. Remember, we were talking about politically exposed persons, and sometimes you don't do certain things because it looks a particular way. Even the court will tell you, not only must justice be done, justice must be seen to be done. There is something about appearances that is important. And there's certain things that you do not do when it comes to the appearance of it all. Stop hiring your boyfriends. We had another situation like this where somebody's like chief officer level. They get with some, I don't know, he's English or whatever, start dating him, having a baby. Okay, I understand. Sometimes when you're around people, y'all start to have feelings for him. And then, before long, you're rolling in the hay with them. But y'all need to decide to separate professionally. Because you can't be somebody's boss and boning them at the same time. Excuse my language, but y'all know what I'm talking about because I can't use the other word for it. Okay? You can't be having what did the woman say? A situation or whatever with them when they work under you, because literally you're under them. That can't work. What the actor's wife named Gina Pickett or whatever the heck her name is. What does she call it? I don't know, a confusion or something. So, don't date people that work in your department that have to answer. A situationship. Thank you. Y'all got lots of situationships. And when you see the public having to come to me about who you're screwing in your private life, we got a problem. Because under normal entanglement, thank you. Under normal circumstances, I don't care. I don't need to know who you're sleeping with. But when they work under you and they work in government, both of you work in government, there's always going to be questions of nepotism. Oh, yeah, he just got a pay increase. Why? How can she justify giving him a pay increase? Right? Oh, that's her Seventh-day Adventist sisterin and brethren and all this kind of foolishness. How are they permitted to rent out the school the weekend before school starts? These kind of things should not be allowed to happen. So the principal of the Marie Martin, my apologies, primary school, as it's now known, formerly Georgetown Primary, she was trying to claim the Department of Education Services had it rented out and she didn't know anything about it. I'm going to tell you, woman, regardless of what your religious sect is, whether it's Seventh-day Adventist, Church of God, Presbyterian, Baptist, whatever, all of them believe in telling the truth. So as a 7 days, Saturday keeper, you should be a truthful woman. Please don't go around telling anyone about you didn't know that DES, Department of Education Services, had it rented when the form has your signature on it. The same form that you would have signed to prove it before it was signed off by DES. Because if you're signing documents at your school that you don't even know what you're signing, we got a bigger problem than you being Seventh-day Adventist. Maybe your memory not good enough to be a principal at all. So don't come with your half-baked story now, because we know that you actually signed off on the form. People are accusing you of looking out for your church more than you're looking out for your school, because who in their right minds would allow the school facility to be rented out the weekend before school is supposed to start, inconveniencing your students and their parents? Now, I know you were scared after we put up that post of the weekend, because I already heard how you ran down Windsor Park, honey child, running down to certain people's house, trying to placate them and keep this quiet. But once the kitty is out of the bag, it's already too late. Come on now. I saw your email that was sent out yesterday about thank you for reaching out to seek clarification regarding uniform sales. I would like to address a few important points to ensure everyone is well informed. What you should have addressed is why on earth are you signing off on a form? Don't put it on the PTA. The PTA ain't got nothing to do with this. They faced some challenges in opening up earlier. They successfully navigated these issues and have continued serving the school community. It comes down to this. You're always going to have parents that last weekend. Trust me, I saw them at the shoe shop this weekend. You know, it is what it is. It's to be anticipated. So maybe in the month of August, you don't rent out your school facility to any 7-day Adventist people or anybody. It don't make a difference. There's a mosquito in here. Doesn't make a difference, quite frankly, who they are. But it certainly does not make it any better that they're your own church people. Again, that smacks of nepotism. Okay? You mean to tell me that the churches can't find somewhere else to rent other than schools? Do better. This parent says, this person says, thank you for talking about Georgetown Primary HR matter and can't talk about it as much as I'd want to. Oh, yes. Again, a lot of it comes down to it being an HR matter, right? Because somebody needs to ask, why are these people being hired? Now, y'all heard good old Auntie Julie. She got up and made a big announcement about how she's going to be giving the principals and the assistant principals a pay raise. Why? Because the results that I just saw come out a couple months ago about how we are failing epically does not warrant you being rewarded. Once again, thank God it's 9:30 now. Radio folks, tune in to the live stream, honey child. That's all I can tell you. Y'all have a good day in Radio Land. All right. Toodaloo. Listen to me now. Why does our premier believe that the solution to everything is simply to throw money at it? You're given principals and assistant principals, mostly not Caymanians, by the way, so not like you're even helping your own people. Okay? Pay increases with no requirement for them to perform any better than they did before. Tell me how this makes any sense. You see, I laugh at her when she talks about, well, y'all lucky to have me as an MP because I could have just stayed in law and I would have been some big shot lawyer at Truman Barton. Child, please. Big shot disappointment is what you've become. And you would have never been no big shot lawyer because this mentality of rewarding people for non-performance is problematic. And it only would work in the civil service. Nowhere else in the world, I can assure you, that you would go and get a pay raise when your results are failing, right? When your students are failing, you don't get rewarded. Help me understand where and how that makes any sense. It doesn't. Only in the Cayman Islands do we have money to waste on an educational system that continually fails our children time and time again. And it's the children who need the most help. It's the parents who are already struggling and already in a disenfranchised situation. They can't afford to send their children most of the time to private schools. And your solution to children not being able to read and write and do basic math, we're not even talking about algebra and trigonometry, is to throw more money at it. We're going to build a $50 million school in Cayman Brac. The irony of it is the Cayman Brac is kind of doing okay, right? We're going to throw money at school principals and assistant principals. No, nothing to say. You have earned this increase in salary because, wow, right now you guys are knocking it out of the park. You're doing so much better. Our kids finally have some results that we can go, oh yeah, boy, they're gonna be going into Maples, getting top grades at law school, and they're gonna become not just a paid partner where they have to buy into the friggin' partnership, they're gonna become an equity partner. Let's have some real standards around the place. Let's have a way to really reward people who do the right thing in life and work hard. When I tell you that your very elected officials are setting you up for failure, education, the Ministry of Education and the Department of Education falling under the education minister, yeah, it has a lot to say. Now, let's listen to this story. Earlier we had Mr. Mia say, well, you know, it's the civil servants. I agree up to a certain extent, but who's going to budget and give the civil servants money if it's not the actual ministers? That's why they have them go before the accounts committee. You need to account for all of these, you know, shortcomings that you have, where money's being wasted, where we don't see results, blah, 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 blah. In the real world, your salary is tied to probably two things, either who you're sleeping with, and hopefully you don't work in one of those organizations, and that criteria is quickly disappearing. And number two, your performance on the job. If you're not going to perform, most y'all will get fired. You're going to be out of the job, but who gives you a friggin' pay raise? Only in this government, this minister, does she reward non-performance. I am sick and tired of Caymanians in the school system calling me, Miss Sandy, I got my bachelor's degree and I can't get a job as even an assistant teacher. They can't get a job in the schools sweeping the school grounds because of this religious nepotism that is happening. Now, Seventh-day Adventist people, don't come for me, because trust me, my grandfather, y'all might know him as Pa Brown. He was a Saturday keeper, and he was very, very strong in his faith as an SDA. That I got nothing to do with this. The numbers speak for themselves, and that's a problem. So, explain it. And the numbers seem to have increased exponentially since we have had Miss Monteith, who is a Seventh-day Adventist keeper, right? Or Seventh-day Adventist, since she has been in the position to influence the hiring in the department. Something has got to give. Somebody says, I suspect the reason that the Seventh-day Adventists moved there was because they were previously using a hall at SIFEC, but the asbestos disaster situation required them to move from there, so they ended up at the Mary Miller Primary School, formerly Georgetown Primary. I don't give a shit. Let me be very, very clear, honey child. I already have a problem with them even being able to rent out school facilities at all. But one thing I know, so you're telling me that this is a regular thing? They rent it out every Saturday? One thing I know, in the month of August, the school not available because we got to open up for school uniforms. You find somewhere else for them to go. And if you have to do that at your expense, I don't really give two cahoots. This person says, is Clifton failing? Richard Wildman is also SDA when he was principal. Then we saw an explosion of SDA hires at Clifton. It's just too much. And there's going to be a backlash, and y'all can, I know poor Seventh-day Adventists, poor them now. They're going to be like, oh God, let's pray about it. They're trying to come for us. Nobody not trying to come for you. Like I said, this really isn't about that. It's just too much. It's too cliquish, and it causes problems. And there are people who legitimately are saying that it's not even like they're hiring the most qualified people in the Seventh-day Adventist church to be teachers. They're just, the first criteria, you're Seventh-day Adventist. Second criteria, you're from Jamaica. Good, you're in. Come on, man. We got to do better than this. It should be like this. First criteria, qualifications. Because when it comes to our children, we want the most qualified people, not just qualified on a piece of paper, experience-wise, technique-wise. They know how to manage your children, they know how to relate to your children, they know how to teach your children. We need those people first and foremost. Next qualification, Caymanians. It's supposed to be in the law, you know. I'm not asking for anything special here. It is mandated in private sector that if you can find qualified Caymanians, that's what you should do. All right? And the same applies or should apply in government. Government should never seek to hire any expat worker where there is a qualified Caymanian to do the job. And you know, they've gotten themselves in trouble with this sort of shenanigans before. They've hired people that were less qualified than the Caymanians. The Caymanians challenged it and won the challenge. So I'm not just talking hypothetically here. There are instances of where the civil service has gotten it wrong in terms of hiring. Hire your people first where they are qualified. All right. This person said, you look at the whole entire SDA not hired in the education ministry. Lord Jesus, it's too much. It really, really is too much. And so, Miss Monteith, I'm sure you'll get the message. For God's sake, stop hiring Seventh-day Adventist people just because they're Seventh-day Adventists. Someone explain why assistant teacher positions should not almost exclusively be for Caymanians. If for some reason you can't find a Caymanian to fill that position, you see, this is where now we talk about upward mobility, because a lot of Caymanians like Sandy, there is no upward mobility for us. We're not going to get the positions. We're not going to get assistant teacher. We're not going to assistant principal. We're not going to get any of that. Y'all need to do a better job. Listen to what this person says. It says, kaboom, same thing. They're not going to answer till after 10 o'clock. The birth certificate is only $10. All right, let's move past that. We're going to deal with that situation later on today. They're going to soon claim that you're attacking the SDA here. Yes, of course. Because when you call people out for the bullshit and you speak the truth, they all feel like they're under attack. The truth, listen, the truth not attacking you, you know? I'm not even attacking you. I'm just asking questions that people in the community want to know what is going on. Well, I can let y'all read what that person said about Julie. That's for you. She's a real effing idiot, the person says, but you read that for yourselves. The results that came out are the worst and lowest in years. I know of teachers that tell children that they don't care if they pass or fail because they're still collecting their money at the end of the month. That's the stellar teachers, SDA, that we have. She herself is a non-performer, so we cannot expect any better. Listen to me now. Y'all better expect better. Because this country is going to go to hell in a handbasket if we do not fix the educational system in this country. Nowhere in the world can you go and compete with anybody if you don't have a friggin' piece of paper. And that's just the beginning. You need to come with like real world skills, the ability to speak and communicate, what we call soft skills, people management skills. In this day and age, those things are oftentimes as much or even more important than the piece of paper. But you have to start somewhere. You can't sit back and you're pushing children out there with this sense of entitlement. Oh, well, you are Caymanian And your mom is Caymanian, and well, yeah, okay, I had to get a Jamaican father for you, but your mom is a Caymanian. So, you know, you multi-generational Caymanian. So, you know, we got to tell them how it go. You're not going to be able to tell anybody nothing. You think it bad now? Keep dumbing down our system. Keep dumbing down our children. And you're going to see how bad it's going to get. Take it from me. I'm telling you all where I came from. I went to Georgetown Primary up until the 3rd or 4th grade. If you don't get education right, your people are doomed. And there will be a point of no return at some point. We can't keep pushing children out there who can't read and write, who have behavioral issues on top of it, who have attitude issues on top of it, who are entitled Caymanians on top of it, and think that the world gives a shit about you or your children. The reality is nobody cares. And I hate to tell you this, but there is a marked difference between the private schools and the public schools. Yes, private schools have their problems. They've got problem children, but you know what they can do? They can kick them out. They can kick them out of school. And all of a sudden, that problem is gone. You understand what I'm saying? Just like prep, they can pick, choose, and refuse who to let into their schools. You don't think that that impacts their numbers? I've never seen anybody more selective than prep in my life. No wonder they have the highest numbers when it comes to educational scores, because they're not taking you if you're dumb. It's easy if you take naturally bright people, and on top of it, their parents have money for tutoring and this and that. I remember it's story time. Gather around, children. I remember this little young boy, cute little thing. His father's from West Bay, mother's expat. So when we were all on waiting lists, everybody wants to get into prep. Everybody's on the waiting list for Montessori, right? So she said to me, she said, you know, he's a shoe-in at prep. And I said, really? I said, that's interesting, because I've been on the waiting list for years. I don't think they're going to call me. But anyway, I've been on the waiting list forever. And I got no special connections. And I got no name. And I got no money, this, that, whatever. I mean, I'll find the money to pay the bill, but you know. Oh, yes, his father went to prep. His father went to prep Sandy. And I said, oh, okay. He went to prep? That came out and went to prep? What mess. I guess that's back in the day when prep used to take Caymanians. But anyway, all right. Yeah, you know, because you get preferential treatment if your parent went. And I said, oh, that's nice. Guess what? Prep turned him down. You know why? Poor little thing. Cutest and sweetest little boy, but he has a learning disability. Them Caymanian genes wasn't really the best, you know, West Bay mix-up situation. But anyway. So he has some special needs, and he's going to need a lot more extra attention. And basically they're like, yeah, we don't have the facilities for him. I was like, wow. That's okay. They're not the only one. So I said, wow, okay. So this is how you become successful. You be very, very selective in who you let in to begin with. Interesting formula. Caymanians, your government schools need to figure this shit out and get it right. You want me to tell you how incredibly important having a good, solid education and how it can open opportunities and open doors for you? Okay. I don't have to look any further than my own story, yeah? I wouldn't be standing before you today having nothing to say about nothing. I would have never been able to get a job at Maples. I would have never been able to get a full scholarship to go to law school if I didn't apply myself. And it starts way back from elementary school. You have to instill in parents. Now, this is where y'all need to step up to the plate. Come to the front of the classroom, because y'all have a lot of responsibility as well. You cannot sit back and demand that the schools perform, the teachers perform, and you not friggin' performing. It is a collaborative effort on behalf of our children. Huh? So if you're not doing your job, If you're going out every single weekend, partying into the wee hours, not sitting down with your children and forcing them to come off that friggin' iPad and read a book and practice and do stuff during the summer months to keep the brain still working, the cobwebs away. On the weekends, giving them something productive to do. You're not helping your children. And not only are you not helping your children, but you are hurting your children. You have got to be the biggest advocate for your own children. Because take a look around, folks. Nobody not gonna do that job for you. I don't care. And in fact, even within your own families, they're not gonna do it. You got people in schools who are school teachers and they're family to y'all, cousins, all kind of thing. They're not looking out for your children like they should be. Y'all need to step up to the plate. Right? When you're hearing these stories, I see your comment there, Dee Dee, about what these teachers are saying to your children. Let me tell y'all something. Don't allow anybody, definitely not no teacher, Johnny come lately teacher, and I don't care which church they go to, but hello, you're not gonna be 7-day or Sunday keeper and disrespecting our Caymanian children, telling them that they're not gonna amount to anything. But can I let y'all in on something? Your own Caymanian's gonna tell you that when they're ready. You think it didn't happen to me? Okay. I told y'all this story already, right? But let me refresh your memories just a little bit. I'm not gonna call her name here today. But there was once a principal of Georgetown Primary. Y'all can probably go figure it out. In the early 70s, when I would have been going there, early 80s, my apologies, who told my mother, oh, this little girl can't learn. You need to put her in Lighthouse School. That's our Caymanian Zayna. Our own Georgetowners, our own Black Georgetowners, gonna tell a mother that your child not capable of learning, so you should just put her in Lighthouse School. You know what happens when you take children with potential and you put them in the wrong environment? When you put them around other children who are misguided, other children who have behavioral problems and all kind of stuff, and you don't offer them the support that they need? What I can tell y'all without fear of contradiction, the reason I've been able to accomplish anything in my life is because I had the opportunity as a child to leave Cayman and be in a structured home environment first and foremost. That structured home environment made demands on me even as a 9-year-old child. Or you were gonna get your ass whooping. Now, y'all know I'm not an advocate of no ass whooping, but you better go to school. You better behave. You better have your manners. You got to do your homework. You got to do this and you got to do that. And the consistency of that environment, this is how critical it is. Parents, I'm still talking to you all. The consistency of that environment meant that by the time I started to get to middle school and high school, I'm like, okay, I'm seeing what's around me. I am seeing the kids who are excelling in school, right? These children are talking about their future. They're different than the ones hanging out, smoking pot in the corner. They're not going anywhere. These kids are focused. I want to be a doctor, a lawyer, a therapist. I want to work with children. I want to be a school teacher, anything. But they started in their minds to understand the need to have some direction and discipline in your life. Because without it, you are doomed to failure. Okay? And you can be motivated. One of the biggest motivators is to put children in an environment where they're being challenged by other children. Y'all always talk about the negative impact of peer pressure. Oh, peer pressure, and this is true. But you know what you don't understand a lot of times is peer pressure works both ways, It doesn't just impact negative behavior. It can impact positive behavior as well. So you put children around other children who are striving, who are successful, who are focused. They want to keep up. The pressure's on and they will do so. Just give them the tools that they need. We need to stop lowering the expectations in our government schools and increasing the salary with no justification to do so. I don't mind paying people well when they are frigging earning it. But I'll be damned if I can pay you well and you not show me no results. You think they're getting that anywhere else in the world? I was reading an article the other day in the States about school teachers. Right? In the state of Florida, they can't even get anybody who wants to teach schools because of the salary and the environment in which these school teachers want to work. It has never been an easy job, to be fair. They have a teacher shortage right now. They're short by more than 4,000 teachers. Go and look it up. It's all over the Florida news. 171 private schools right now are telling you that they have vacancies. So when we're looking to fill our little vacancies here in our little rock, this little part of the world, let us ensure that we have the formula right. You need to find people who are qualified, who are Caymanians, and who actually care about your children. Because it's one thing to be able to sit in a classroom and deliver course material. Not anybody, but you can put together syllabi and deliver what's on the syllabi. It's a whole other thing to actually be concerned about and have a real love in your heart for your children. And somehow we're managing, despite most of them being Seventh-day Adventists, we're still managing to find some of the most hateful people in the world to teach our children. They don't like us. They don't like Caymanians. Half of them don't even like Cayman. They're just here to get what they can get, so they can build homes elsewhere, somewhere else, and figure out their retirement plan. So when they see children that are obviously struggling, who are having emotional difficulties, who are having issues, they're not the kind of people who are going to pull your kids aside and say, hey, what's going on with you? I notice you're different today. Do you want to have a conversation? Do you need to see a therapist? How can I help? Because so many of your children are being besieged in the classroom and then being besieged at home. They're in toxic environment. They're in abusive environment. It's just ridiculous. So everyone has a role to play. And if we keep, I can't say this enough, if we keep failing at education, how on earth will this country ever hope to be successful? How on earth will Caymanians ever get there? Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Sunday. A good topic that you have with today. So therefore, for every Caymanian, just to let you know, if you're going to fill out any application, please put 7-day Adventist on it. You guarantee to get a job. Okay? Because that's what it seems like. I'm sorry to say, but it seems like it's a cult that's starting up. Now, one thing I don't understand, Sandy, is that you apply when you're about to give someone, and correct me if I'm wrong, because you've been into the business to know, when you're giving someone a raise, what is your raise based on? When you do an evaluation on your rate to give someone a raise in your office, what's it based on?
I said, in the real world, it's based on performance.
So basically, The children don't have to perform, because I have kids in school. The children doesn't have to perform for you to get a raise, and for them to get a raise. And it looks like now you're giving them a.
Well, the teachers apparently not performing either.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So you're paying them not to do their job. Therefore, the children's going to now come and not have a job to go to, and end up going to her mom's service, which all in the not whole, we're paying for everything. So you're paying them to have the children to fail. And what is our grade? What is the grade for the schools right now?
Listen,
where do our kids mark?
I can tell you that the most recent reports show very, very dismal numbers. We should be, this should be a top priority in this country, right? Because y'all need to tell me why you're building a port, why you're building cruise birthing facilities, why you're building a foundation of, the corporate world, reinsurance, all these amazing industries, if you're not preparing your Caymanian people, even as small as their population is, to be able to take advantage of those opportunities. What's the point? That's why we ask the question, who are you building for? Because if your people are not equipped and they're not prepared and they can't take on those jobs, what on earth are we building all this for? It should be for our people. Once all of our people are good, we have more than enough jobs, obviously, to bring in foreign labor. So this is never about, we're going to get rid of foreign labor. The size of our population dictates that we will always have a need for foreign labor.
And the thing is, Sandy, you could go anywhere else, even in Panama. You have more Panamanians than anybody else working at that country, right? Mm-hmm. The thing of it is that we're not building Cayman for the Caymanian people or the people of this island anymore. We're building it for other people to come over. And I don't understand why is that Caymanian people are training someone. If you're not qualified for this job, you're not qualified to do this job. But yet I'm bringing someone that's not from this country, that don't have the qualification, and I'm training them to be my boss. And that's constantly going on. And then after they train them to be my boss, then they make my job redundant, and then they take over and they change up the title a little bit, and you're doing the exact same thing that I used to be doing. So great topic, Sandy, and it needs to be dealt with. And if they don't deal with it, there's always next year.
Mm-mm.
All right.
Thank you, my dear. Well, the problem is at some point we're not going to be in a position to keep saying there's always next year, because the shit going to be so bad in this country. They're not going to be a next year. There's not going to be continued opportunities. I think the way in which, and of course there are very, very different systems, private and public schools, but I think the public schools could learn a lot from how the private schools operate and the things that they do. And the government has to be committed to giving them the funding that they need in order to be able to get it done. And you as parents need to get on board and be supportive of positive and good changes in the school system. But the track that we are currently on just isn't working. And the results reflect that for sure. Boy, I don't know what to tell y'all, because I tell you what, my philosophy is this, and I've said it jokingly, of course, to my husband, but I gotta be honest. If it came down to it, I gotta do what I gotta do once it's legal to keep my daughter in private school and to make sure she understands what a privilege it is for her to be in a classroom with smaller sizes where they can give her more individualized attention. Anything that they notice, let me tell you, they're working on different skill sets. She's only 8 years old from last year. When she was in year 1, they were working on different things, and they will, quarterly reports. You go in as parents, you sit down, they make the children show you what they're learning in school. The teacher assessments, they say, you know what? We noticed she's left-handed. So you don't know the struggles there with writing and, and writing and whatever, right? But there are things that they picked up on, and they said, you know what? We notice that as a foundation, she's struggling with putting these types of words together. Like sometimes she'll reverse the B and the D. and we want her to work a little bit more on this, we have a specialized teacher that will work with her. All right, book her, slot her in. So what that teacher does now, when she's done at 3 o'clock, she comes and gets her, takes her for another half an hour session 3 times a week for her to be able to work one-on-one, more focused time, no distractions from the other students. She doesn't have to feel like she has to talk to anybody. It's just her and the teacher. At home, we need to work on it more, right? We need to start doing more exercises, putting in our part as parents. And trust me, I understand that even people who are trying to be the best parents are having a challenge. That's why I tell y'all, get out of your mind that it doesn't make a difference how many children you have. Your children are going to be just fine. That's a bunch of horse shit. Y'all want to believe that. And that might have been true 50 years ago. And you know why it was true 50 years ago? Is because the structure of our families was completely different. You had the village helping. You had a grandparent that you could rely on to be there with your children after school, even when you had to go to work. And they wasn't hopefully exposing them to any child molesters in the process. Now you, your mother and your granny and your great-granny, everybody working, trying to hustle in these streets. The support just isn't there. So why are y'all creating environments that you know you're going to have a harder time? Yes, it matters how many kids you have. And I don't care what y'all want to say about it. 1 is easier to manage than 2. 2 is easier to manage than 3. 3 is easier to manage than 4. 4 is easier to manage than 5. And 5 definitely easier to manage than 10. How much individualized attention can you give each child? Especially when y'all refuse to hold these no good fucking men accountable. They just want to drop seed and go on about their business. It's ridiculous. Even in a 2-parent household, I can tell you, there are days because of work commitments and all this other stuff. Like, okay, we got to be there. Somebody got to take her to this party this weekend. Somebody has to sit down and do the work and do the, you know, it's a full-time job and then some by itself. Amy, good morning. Says the government needs to provide more support for parents to fund their children to do healthy, active after-school skills. I'm not talking about after-school club where they sit around unsupervised on a laptop. I mean sewing club, dance club, skateboarding, paddleboarding, snorkeling, anything that is outside or teaching a skill. Well, I couldn't agree with you more, Amy, except I'm going to say this. Government might have a role to play, but once again, parents, you have to budget for these things as well. Every year, I sign my daughter up for after-school activities. So this year, she's going to do swimming because we live in the Caribbean. She needs to be a good swimmer. So she's going to do swimming, tumbling, which is kind of like pre-gymnastics, and tennis. When you're in private school, honey child, you got to pay for those things. Nobody not going to pay for that. I can't go to government and be like, well, I want to sign up for pickleball. Can you help me out here? I'm going to challenge you, Amy, to think about your budget, think about your finances, and we all need more help in this regard. We all need fiscal management because when people want to find money for the things that they want, it's amazing how they're able to find it. Want nails done, hair done, y'all can find it. They want to travel. They want to go to Miami to go to a strip club. They want to hang out at the bar every weekend. People find money quite astonishingly enough for the things that they want to find money for. But then when it comes to school activities, all of a sudden they're like, nope, ain't got no money for that. But yes, there has to be environments where your children can be safe. That's why even going back to where we started the conversation yesterday with the skate park, it is very, very sad that the skate park is now gone. But government can do something about that. They can put up another skate park. There's lots of government property all over the place. But it's not just about putting up the skate park and leaving it there. You have to have it ran properly by somebody who cares about your children and who are not going to put your children at risk and who is not going to allow other people to come in and put your children at risk either. Because, you know, this truancy and kids just hanging out wherever with idleness and nothing to do, A lot of that has got to stop. Now, I know that parents say, well, Sandy, the children got to be able to do something. You can't keep them locked up in the house. Well, I tell you what, my aunt was hardly making me go anywhere. I was in that house and I still had to find stuff to do either around the yard. And I had one little BMX bike. I'll never forget it. It was blue and white. And I was able to ride in circles. That's how I got my exercise in the evenings after school around the block a million times, but I couldn't go any further than that. So you have to make do with what you have, but a lot of times we can pinch and do more with what we have as well. And the sacrifices that you should make is not to be able to go out in these streets flossing all the time, but and looking good, but to make sure that your children have opportunities that you didn't have. It grieves me when I see people dressing up and going to brunch on weekends and they're going to these boat parties and living their best life and then turn around on social media begging for help with school uniforms and begging for help with this, that, and whatever for their children. I'm just like, come again? Or complaining about CUC and how they can't afford to pay the bill. That's why some of y'all, I have to call you out on your BS stories. Living your best life, but because you know it's going to get you some social media clout if you complain about CUC, because that one will always get you clout, child. Right? And yet, every turnaround, I see you going to New York, I see you traveling here and there. This particular one, she got 2 kids in private school, and the doctor daddy of one of them is paying for it. I'm like, you're so unfortunate. Not every woman has a puss of gold that could fool somebody that good where they're going to pay for a child that not even theirs to go to Cayman's top private school. Good for you. You know what? I'm not even going to knock you, because Lord knows if it's that golden, then, and that's the only skill you got, because again, no education, no real prospects of doing anything, right? So I guess if that's what you got to work with, then, you know, work it to your best ability. But then I don't want to see you on social media complaining about how hard your life is. Girl, please. Save that for the real people who have the right to complain, because it ain't you. We all need to do better. Now, I'm expecting the ministry to step up to the plate here now. You have heard the complaints in the society about this ongoing issue of you hiring a particular religious sect. And what we are saying is enough of that. That should not be a pre-qualification. You need to break up this mafia network within the Seventh-day Adventist organization when it comes to our educational system. If they want to go get jobs in private sector, that's their business. I don't really care. You need to, I know you do exit interviews with your teachers. And when they tell you they're leaving for particular reasons, you need to try and listen to that and see how you can make adjustments to the system. Because that's also not happening. Someone says schools are a cult. I say that every single day. Let me read to you something that someone who's a former school teacher had to say. Right? They sent this yesterday ahead of the show. All right. They said the following. Hold on. They said, from one of the teachers, there's so many things. Number one, expats were treated differently. Number two, for example, expats were given housing and car rental when they arrive on the island. Caymanians have no incentives. This is Caymanians now saying why they don't stay in the system, why they end up leaving, right? When I moved back home, I had my parents pay for my housing and shipment of furniture and use my mom's car until I could get on my own 2 feet. There was no organized curriculum, no resources such as textbooks, teachers' edition books to follow. The expectations were ridiculous, especially with no resources, and constant pressure from government and people from all over, even people from England. What the hell? And people had no clue about education coming into your classroom with only negative feedback. Also, I'm not sure how it is now, but pay was not the greatest for the cost of living in Cayman. That was what one teacher said. Another teacher, who's no longer in the government system, said, for me, Caymanians were minorities and made to feel less than and stupid. Even when better educated, etc., you could tell that being Caymanian marked you. Caymanians were usually well educated, went to go to schools and goes to schools and got good degrees that weren't valued because they were Caymanian. It's very hard to innovate or move the system forward because the vast majority of teachers were educated in the old school way and were ignorant to new methods. Lack of structure in the schools. Anything goes. So limited ability to teach the kids. Hardcore behavioral issues and no support for the kids or the teachers. So that's some of the issues that Caymanian teachers have said why they have not stayed in the system. Poor administration, poor student behavior, lack of support for special needs. And again, to me, that's absolutely shocking. Any of your children who fall into that category of needing a little bit extra and special needs, that is where government needs to be focusing a lot of energy. But sadly, the system is designed that if you fall outside the normal range, whatever that's supposed to be, right? And that includes even being higher up on the spectrum where you are extremely bright. The system is not designed to really accommodate you in any way, shape, or form. It's a sad, sad indictment on all of us. This person says, my sister left the education system because it was driving her nuts. She's one of the few that can write a full curriculum. She also stated that most teachers are not educated and only get jobs because they were assistants and got promoted. Again, no performance. What a mess. Y'all gotta do better. So here we are at the beginning of the school year. You know, I always felt, even as a student, the beginning of a school year was actually time to kind of celebrate and be like, all right, we're gonna get it this year. We're gonna get certain things right. Can we challenge ourselves to be better this school year? I've got my list of challenges. Like I told y'all, I have my organizer here. Hold on, let me grab mine. Because I'm so busy, I feel like I need to be a little bit more organized with Gianna's stuff because, man, it's a lot. They be throwing all kind of stuff at you. I need to go look at the app now on my phone to see what we got going on, because one thing with her school, teachers communicate really well. They're constantly messaging. And child, sometimes I'd be like, oh, shit, I gotta check that in a couple of days. I need to keep up and read these messages. Right? So this is her after school program. They reminding us of some program highlights and different stuff. The phone number, the mobile number. Oh yeah, I got to save that in my phone. You see, this is a thing. You got to be organized. Already, these are all of the papers with dates and stuff for the school year. That's why I got my little calendar. Those of you who won last week, congratulations. This is your student planner calendar. The same way your teachers have to plan their curriculum and their student life, you should be doing this for your children as well. So, you know, when they send you an email like this, oh my God, this is like 5 pages worth of information, data. I got to read through all of this. Back to school night. That's August the 27th. Is that here yet? Oh shit, that's tonight. You see what I'm telling you? location, information, all that, communication, scheduling, what day she's got PE and has to use her PE uniform, swimming. Thank God she actually reminds me of a lot of stuff. Mom, I got swimming today. I'm like, oh yeah, pack it. Miss Stacy, make sure you're back at her swimsuit. Library day, STEM day, art day, music day, Spanish. So she already had Spanish on Friday. Right? If the school is organized, I got to make sure that I'm meeting them as well. Reminders about pickup and drop-off procedures. Every year, they make you go online and re-sign your form. Who can pick her up? Who can drop her off? Your child not starting school until you do all of those things. Right? Lunch and cafeteria. All right? Yes, honey child. Hats and shoes policy. They actually opened up the shoe policy now, where at her school, there's no longer a color requirement, which was nice. No sandals or slide-on shoes, even on dress-down day. All right. Hats outside in the sun. You can send them with their little sunscreen and stuff as well. You got your after-school activities. Well, those are closed out for this term. Lots and lots of dates going all the way into November. So now I'm going to transfer these dates into this calendar. That's why I got my student planner. And then anybody has a question about what's coming up for her, me, Stacy, Dad, everybody can look at the one calendar. Now I'm going to be the manager of the calendar because Daddy definitely not going to be writing nothing in it. So I'll be the manager of the calendar. And then when we're planning different things, even activities like family activities or whatever, we need to be able to look at the calendar and see, oh no, we have a coffee date that day with the parents. We can't do that. Back to school nights or whatever, family fun day. Organize yourselves is all I'm saying, parents. Whatever formula works for you. I got to write stuff down. I don't know what y'all do. Maybe you do it electronically or whatever. But whatever works for you, folks, sort yourselves out. This is a job. Parenting is a job. That's what I'm saying. And y'all make it harder on yourselves for a number of different reasons. Find the processes and find your groove and whatever works. Amy, I understand and I agree. But, you know, again, we see, for example, I'm so disappointed in what has happened in Windsor Park. With the park there, that's available for children. And yet, look at what's happening. Druggies hanging out there, smoking pot and doing whatever. You wouldn't send your children there if you had any sense. Not unless you want them to start getting in trouble. Recently, Wayne Panton has started to put these parks around. You know, he opened up, my God, I think there's 5 different parks between him and Heather. I think 3. One is actually split between Newlands and Savannah. It's so weird how they've done these boundaries, but whatever. And then 2 with her. And let me tell you, even the ones in her constituency, Wayne is the one who had it done. Okay. Let's just be honest. He has the funding to do it. And he got the equipment ordered and had it done. These are good places. If you live in the Eastern districts, good facilities to be able to take your children to. Some are bigger than others. You know, find out what's available in your community. Most of the schools have a little walking park or area that you can take your children to. There are things that are out there. I find that sometimes parents don't even know what's out there, and y'all need to know. There are lots of wholesome things that you can engage your children in, but guess what? It requires you as a parent to also be present and to be there, or at least to have someone take them that is someone that you can trust. There are very few facilities where you can just drop your kids off and be like, okay, I'll come back for them. And I know they're in good hands. They're going to be doing educational stuff that, as you say, they're not going to be stuck on a computer or gaming or whatever. But make sure you do your due diligence as a parent. All these after-school activities, YMCA and all these wonderful organizations, these NPOs, you need to find out about their child protection program. Because the last thing you need to do is send your children in any environment where they could potentially be compromised. Someone says, I had a super high IQ, and because I stayed and came out, I had to dumb myself down to the point where I felt that I was a freak. I was ashamed that I knew things not even the teachers did. And when I corrected them, I was told to shut up. Wow. My mother regrets staying here and begged me and my sister for forgiveness for staying. I applied to MIT and never told my mom, and she found out years later and was upset that I didn't tell her. Did you get into MIT, and why didn't you go? You see, this is I understand this, and this doesn't happen quite as frequently as the other narrative, but I have seen, listen to me, I'm no psychiatrist, psychologist, or anything, right? But child, a little bit of learning can go a long way sometimes. I have seen families, and there's one in particular in West Bay. The guy recently passed away, and it's such a sad story because he could have done so much more with his life and been so much more. But again, one of 13 children. And let me tell you something, when you have families that big, you can be the biggest, the brightest, all the talent. You can get lost in the mix normally. I mean, it's hard. One of 13, come on. You got 13 mouths to feed. Even back in the day, that was a lot, you know? But, you know, women then didn't have access to birth control. They didn't know these things. This is where now we as young women, I'm telling you, don't make these men be coming whispering no foolishness in your ear, fooling you up. They're going to do that to get you in the sack. That's bad enough. But don't make them fool you to the point where you're going to have children for them and then they're going to ghost you and disappear. Or be a no good man that got 13 with you and another 20 with somebody else. We have to elevate ourselves. And by elevating ourselves, that means that the people that we keep in our circles around us, we have to elevate them too. And believe me, you, again, speaking from personal experience, oh, Jesus Christ, why y'all never tell me this camera adjusted itself again? When you start to elevate yourself and you're going to pick, choose, and refuse who is in your circle, then people can get vexed with you, even your own family members. Some of them is the biggest son of a bitches when it comes to, okay, I want to break the cycle that our family has had to endure. The dysfunctionality, the fighting, the this, the that. The second you get committed to doing that, oh, you're the worst person in the family. Oh, you think, oh yeah, Sandy thinks that she's better than us. How can I think I'm better than you? I mean, you come from the same puss woman. Like, seriously, let's just break it down. We got the same nappy hair. Nobody no better than nobody. I'm just making different and better decisions for myself, for the next generation, because I refuse for this to be my story. You don't get to write my story for me. This is accountability now on an individual level that we have to take. Every one of us has dysfunctional families in one way, shape, or another. Some worse than others. Okay? Some of y'all, the mother dysfunctional, the daddy dysfunctional, all your aunts and uncle on drugs and this, that. It's going to be harder for you, no doubt. But even the people that you look at and you envy them, boy, they got a nice big house and they got this, that. They might have material things. But child, when you peer in and you look on the inside of that situation, they're dysfunctional too. They mightn't be on crack, but they can afford the high-grade cocaine. Their father's a functional alcoholic. Yes, he's working a big-time job in the law firm, but when he's not working in the law firm, he's drinking himself into stupor. They have depression. They have people with bipolarism. They have people with eating disorders. Everybody has shit to deal with in life. And this is why I agree with the caller who said, you know, sometimes we may be too quick to judge people. Because we're all in this boat, and sometimes the boat feel like it's like you're paddling and you're not going anywhere. But there comes points in time when we become adults and we have to start making our own decisions and we have to start doing things for ourselves. And so we need to get it together. Nobody's going to hold your hand forever. It's a big world out there, and it's also a tough world out there. So, start to make better decisions for yourself, for your own immediate family. I don't know. I mean, sometimes I stand here and I think to myself, is it really a lost cause? Am I talking to the woods and nobody's going to hear me anyway? So does it really matter what I say? And I'm hoping that even if I can get through to like one person, even some of the time. I saw somebody's comment earlier about Sandy, how hard it is when, you want to get your tubes tied. This is what Strong Mind and Body says. It can be confusing when doctors tell us women that we're too young to tie your tubes. Just saying, for those of us that are thinking right and looking out for a better future for yourself and your kids. Let me address this, because this has been something for many years that I have privately addressed with the HSA, and I've spoken publicly about it before. You see, in so many respects, Strong Mind and Body, we still live in an ass-backwards society. Okay? And when I'm telling you that is the truth, that is the truth. Men still think, that's what I'm telling you, don't engage with these no good men who just want to drop children on you and do whatever they want with their lives. That's not how it works. When you become a parent, you are both legally and morally obligated to do for your children. Do not let them bitches off the hook. You carry that child for 8 or 9 months. You're dedicated to that child. Find sensible partners to deal with. Do not bring a child into this world with a man who already has a track record that he does not care about children. Now, you know who the real fool is? If I can go lie down with a man and have a child when he already got 4 and 5 that he not taking care of, what makes you think your one's going to be any different? Some of y'all women are so stupid. I hear some of the conversations. I see some of the social media fighting and the back and forth. Right? Thinking you're clamped, that post that already stretched out, like keep him more than the other girl. Don't be stupid. Men don't give a shit about any of that. They'll stick in almost any hole and have no obligation if they're just not a good person. Oh, because you think you light skin and you got straight hair, he gonna treat you better than the last one? Any man that cannot do for his children is no man at all. He not no good. Y'all need to learn that and keep that ingrained in your head. And your children will be no different. For a time, they might have a little bit of better luck because he probably using you for something. And when he's sick of you and them children, he gone about his business. If he can't commit to you, he not commit to his children. You better believe that. But I've had an issue with this, other people trying to tell you, Strong Mind and Body, what to do with your body. It's your body, right? You have a right to make those types of decisions. And no HSA, no doctor, nobody can't tell you that, oh, you're too young to have your tubes tied. If that's what you want to do, if you have 2 kids and you're like, okay, I'm done, that's it. That's your business. If you don't have any and you don't want any, that is likewise your business. Because the same people who are telling you when you're child number 4 not to get your tubes tied and you're only 25 years old, knowing that you got another good 25 years of childbearing ahead of you, no education, no proper job, no nothing, those same people who say, no, we can't tie your tubes, they're not going to help you support one of your children. When you set up a GoFundMe page, they're not donating a single dollar. You can't call them on the phone and cry the nights that you got 2 sick children, you're not getting no sleep, you finally just got yourself a little job and you're about to lose your job because you got called in sick tomorrow because your children are sick. These are the realities of it, right? Legally, they also do not have a right to tell you what to do with your body. And I've spoken to the HSA and they know which Jamaican doctors be telling people this foolishness. And they supposedly have spoken to them about it. And they should not be advising you against tubal ligation if that is what you choose to do. It's unbelievable. But when you look at the countries around the world that are like struggling with poverty and stuff, a lot of it, and it starts within your own family circles. One of the biggest predictors of whether or not you will remain in poverty, believe it or not, is the number of children that you have. That's why y'all must be thinking, I don't like children. You're like, oh my God, Sandy don't want nobody to have no children. She don't like children. It's not. People used to say that foolishness to me before I had my daughter. That's because she can't have none. No, I was choosing not to have any because I hadn't found the right man yet. Needed one that was going to stick around, that didn't have a bag load of his own. And let me just tell you that the pickings out, they're kind of slim. So it took me a minute, and that, yeah, I actually liked him myself. Took me a minute. I could have had I could have had 5 a long time ago. And I love children. This is about making better decisions to improve your plight in life. The more children you have, the harder that becomes. And it doesn't matter your level of education or even your income, because children cost money. News alert, they're expensive. Especially if you want them to have opportunities. Y'all notice that you take them a little vacation now, you go Florida, right? Look at how much it costs for the child's ticket. Some of these venues are so ridiculous now. They're talking about if you're under 3. Since when an 8-year-old, not child? They want to charge you the adult rate for the same 8-year-old child. So when you go out now, you're like, damn, there's no more kids' meals, really, right? You got to pay adult rate to get into parks. You got to pay this. It's like ridiculous. And that's like the bare minimum. You're just trying to do a little family trip in the summer. Make sure your child sees something different than Cayman. So take that into consideration when you're sitting in line down with these men talking about you want to have children by them. Costs money. And then he talking about he broke, he not got the money to give you to help you? What the hell? This person says, yep, I did, but it was too expensive and I wanted to go to the School of Aeronautics and Astronautics. In another life, maybe it would have been different. I worked in government, banks, the big 4, and law firms, and to this day, I hate every second of it. But we do what we have to do for our kids so that they can achieve their dreams. Well, I keep telling you all that, you know, your kids, in order for them to achieve their dreams, you also have to really, really work on, you know, making sure that as a parent, you're making better decisions as well. Every parent, I hope, has the ultimate dream to try to make your child's life better than yours. And whatever way that means, a better family, you know, financially better, whatever. A home free of like discord and chaos all the time. But that means that you have to make better decisions about the partners that we choose in our life. Because some of us just have been surrounded by chaos so much that that's all we know. And we're attracted to the wrong people for all the wrong reasons. We're attracted to chaos. And it's hard, right? Because that is a cycle that is difficult to break when you grew up around that 24/7. But it is possible. I don't know what to say, except that we can do better. We have to expect better of ourselves. We have to expect better of other people. We can do better. Nobody, you know, is going to give you anything. You need to get out of this mentality of looking for handouts in life, because I hate to tell y'all, but it ain't happening. This person says parents should be required to have life insurance. Who will take care of your kids and their needs if you die? That too. Man, life is hard. Why y'all didn't tell me this shit before I decided to become an adult? Adulting is hard. And unfortunately, you know, there's so few opportunities to like learn and how to do it right, how to get it right. You know what I'm saying? especially when you grew up in dysfunctions and that's what you were exposed to. But we can do it. That's why I'm so anxious to start the book club, because through learning and sharing of information and having, different parenting experts and stuff come on, we can learn from each other. I've been begging any kind of financial gurus and experts in Cayman to come and teach us how to manage our money. Teach us that one extra payment a year on your mortgage can cut the life of that mortgage by 5 years. Teach us how to get out of debt, how to invest. What are the things that we should be focused on? We need the help. And anybody who has those skills can contact me. I will bring you on the program, child. We will work through it. Childhood trauma experts. Yes, come and talk to us. Help us. Because we have to learn how to, as a community, work better together. Not relying on your MPs to solve all your problems. I don't need anything from them, I want them to focus on the bigger issues in the country. Set the policy. Make sure that the playing field is as even as it can be. Nobody should be contacting me on this platform talking about the fact that, I can't get a job and I'm qualified to be a teacher and I'm a Caymanian. But yet every 7-day Adventist work and get a job. That's bullshit. Straight up. I should have people calling me, can you investigate this? How come her boyfriend, her man got a pay increase? That's not the kind of stuff I want to hear. I want y'all to do better. You know how it grieves me to have to call up people yesterday? I had to publish a story that in so many respects, we're going to talk about Dr. Dursaran. We have to leave him till tomorrow, shall we? Didn't even get to him today. Right? This is one of our Caribbean people, one of our own. And this has been a complete failure on his part now, unfortunately, where his life has ended up. A lot of poor decisions on his own, really. But these are lessons. There's lessons in when other people fail and the mistakes that they make and the choices that they make that leave them where they are. And so as a community, we don't look at situations like this to try to, we're going to talk about him to make him feel bad and bring him down. There's a lesson in it. Right? There's a lesson in sometimes putting your hat too high and not being able to achieve that. There's a lesson in running businesses when you don't have any business acumen, when you don't understand business. Not everybody should be a business owner. That you can't not pay your staff and there won't be consequences. You got to meet your liabilities, payroll, pension, insurance, all of these things. So we're going to get to his story tomorrow. We need to talk a little bit about the environment again tomorrow. We got to have UCCI on tomorrow as well. All right. School starting this week. Y'all done know that the roadways are going to be crazy. The accidents have already started to started up already. I'm begging you all to please do not go out there driving like a maniac. Okay? We got to do a little bit better than this now. I also want to encourage as much as possible. I see the NRA has done some new changes. We're going to post that up a little bit later on to the Savannah by the primary school there in the church. Take your time, folks. Slow down. There's absolutely no reason for y'all to be driving like a bat out of hell in those areas. You know, our children can't be safe on the school buses because, oh yeah, look who's racing through here, trying to mow down the poor children. That's the kind of stuff that, you know, y'all could ease up on. It would be appreciated. School bus wardens, welcome back. I know y'all are getting ready as well to do your thing for the new school year. Appreciate it. Can we also ask of you all to kindly, you know, do your jobs as school bus wardens? Look out for the kids on the bus. Don't just sit in the front and pretend like you don't know what's going on in the back of the bus. All right, let's give away some tickets. Let's give away some stuff. Those of you who held on until this long in the show, still a good number listening. Can we do some giveaways? All right. Now I'm going to be digging deep. Where is my interview, by the way? I need to look for my, I have a couple interviews I wanted to play as well. I have the one, I need to put that one together with the bus, the street stuff out there. I'm going to get that sorted today and post that up. But all right, let's now do some giveaways. Everybody likes a good giveaway, honey child. Okay. So who's ready to win something? We got tickets to Juve. Listen, let me play the little commercial. Y'all need to go out and watch this play. It's actually really, really good. Miss Faith want Pizza Hut or Popeyes. I don't have the Popeyes ones in my hands yet, but I should have them so I can put your name down. But here, let's make sure we support the arts. You know, get your kids involved in acting. This is an excellent opportunity for you to go and watch a play. This one is a mature play with language. So again, if you can't take a couple F-bombs, this may not be the one for you, but it's the play is written that way. And when they get the rights to the plays, they have to reenact them how they were written. Here you go.
Cayman Drama Society presents Juve by Yasmin Joseph. This play about Notting Hill Carnival will be performed at the Prospect Playhouse from the 29th of August to the 14th of September. Come join Nadine, Jade, and Nisha on the road as a DJ drops the beat and the girls both lose and find themselves in the music. The show takes us on a moving and fun ride through the streets of London and the history and emotions the carnival symbolizes. Get your tickets now at www.cds.ky.
All right, beautiful, beautiful. Juve, go and check it out. All right, let's give away 2 tickets. We're gonna give away 2 more tomorrow. We'll do 2 today. This is for Thursday night for the opening. So make sure that you can actually go. Very excellent play, like I said. First 2 callers. If you want to go, just call me. Make it easy. I'm not even gonna tax y'all brain too much today. If you want to go see the play and you'd like a ticket, call me right now. Make sure you're free Thursday. 936-2626. Oh, where's my little button? My little Look at that. Good morning, caller.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing, honey child?
I'm great. Thank you.
All right, we're gonna give you a ticket.
Yes, please.
Oh yes, give me your first name.
Renee.
All right, Renee, you're gonna like it. It's actually it was very touching. It's a good play. All right, I got your number here. I'm gonna give them your number and then send you details on how to collect. Okay.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too. All right. Good morning, caller.
Well, hi, Miss
How are you?
I am fine, thanks.
Good. Would you like to go to the Juve play opening on Thursday evening?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Give me a first name.
Jennifer.
Miss Jennifer.
Yeah.
All right. And I have your number. Let me just make sure I got the right one now because I got quite a few people calling. Hold on. Yes. 325, honey child.
Yeah.
All right, we got you. So congratulations. I'm going to do 2 more of those giveaways tomorrow. Appreciate it, Miss Jennifer. And I know you're going to enjoy it. It's actually very good.
All right, Miss Sanders. Thank you,
darling. They went and got voice coaches and everything, y'all. I was like, wow, they did an amazing job, I must say. And I loved it. Our own Caymanians playing these lead roles. I mean, phenomenal performances. Okay. All right. So we got 2 more tickets to give away tomorrow. They gave us 4 tickets in total. All right. Let's give away. We've been talking a lot about school and stuff this morning. Let's do some gift certificates to where's the best place? You guys tell me. Where is the best place to get your school supplies? Get your little backpack. Reasonable prices now. Don't y'all be splurging, because you know these children are throw shit down and still not take care of it. Where is the best place these days to get school supplies? Like a good price? Is it like one of the Price Right and Cost You Less stores, or do you still go to the office supply stores? Where do you go on island for school supplies? Hello?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Where do I go for school supplies?
Yeah, like who has the best bargains?
I think office supplies.
Office supplies still has the best bargains?
I think so.
Okay.
I like them.
All right.
I'm a sucker for stationery. I'm a little weird.
Yeah, I love a good stationery myself, but the problem is I'll be buying too much, more than I need. All right, caller. You were calling in for a ticket for the show, or you were just?
Yeah, for the ticket.
All right, you know what?
Go. You hyped it up so much now.
I know. I'll get you one as well for opening on Thursday. Make sure you can go Thursday now, you know.
I'm gonna go.
All right, good.
All
right, thank you. Appreciate it. Next caller. We're going to give away, she says that's the store to go to, office supply. I'm going to give away a $75 gift certificate out of my own little kitty bank. My little kitty bank. All right. For the next person who calls for your school supplies, $75. Come on, give me a call to, what's the name of the store? Office supplies. Man, I tell you what, when I was at Walmart the other day, I was like, oh shit, man, I wish I had the space. It wasn't about the money. But I wish I had the space to bring some stuff back, because man, they had like 99-cent folders and all kind of stuff. I was like, what? But you got to have space to bring all that stuff back. Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
You won yourself $75 to the office supply store. Can I get a first name? Actually, you're calling from a landline, so you know what? WhatsApp me your mobile number, okay? And we'll get you sorted out there.
Cool. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you too.
All right. Bye.
All righty. So, hold on a second, honey child. So, cause asking what's the name of the play? The name of the play is Juve, and it's actually a play written in the UK, and it's based on carnival of some real life events actually that happened in 1959. In fact, give me 1 second. I was looking for the interview. I have an interview that I'm going to play with the team there, because it is. I mean, I was really blown away by the level of acting. So give me 1 second, honey chill. And the performance, it's good. Y'all do not want to miss it. Now, let me see now. Where did I save it? Hold on 1 second. I'm going to get it for you. Honey chill. So I am going to give, oh yes. So let me save this now on this jump drive. And then I want to play it for you guys. So hold on a second. Yeah, you're gonna hold on. Somebody just asked me about somebody who's in it. Yes, you're right. She is in it, but hold on now. Let me just play this for you guys. Save to folder, save to files. Yes. Okay. I think I've saved it to the right place. Give me 1 second. Let me try and see now, honey chill. Now, I'm aware that some of you parents need some school resources. So I want to let you know that, is this the one that I'm looking for? That there are a lot of resources available to you online, right? So, you know, all you need is a little printer and to be able to print these things out for your kids to be able to work on. And they range from stuff for pre-K all the way up to high school level, you know? Listen, don't knock yourself because you don't understand friggin' algebra and trigonometry. I hate math. I'm one of those people like, what the hell do I need trigonometry for? Child, you could not, after advanced placement algebra, I was like, do not talk to me about another, let me see here now. I think I'm saving this in the wrong area is a problem. I'm like, do not talk to me about another math course because I don't need it. That was not going to be my calling in life, and I knew that early on. I'm not looking to be no science teacher or mathematician or astronaut. You know, there's certain things that obviously you need it for. None of those things interest me. I'm a language arts kind of person. So I was like, no, honey, chill. We're not doing that. So, but you know, a lot of times we don't know stuff, and that's okay. You don't have to be a friggin' surgeon and PhD educator yourself in order to help your children navigate this crazy world of academics. You just have to know where to get the resources that they are going to need. And there's a plethora of resources online. And folks, a lot of it is free. I went to public school. When I was in high school, even middle school, I remember sometimes struggling with my homework because my aunt couldn't help me. You know, she was not really an educated person. She completed high school and that was it. And so it was kind of crazy because sometimes I just didn't understand certain things. I'm like, I don't get this. Like, what the hell? And the great thing about it is in the States, they actually had a toll-free number. This was a day before high school. I mean, before high school, before cell phones, right? So you had to get on your little landline, but you could call for after-school tutoring and help. And I would call. I remember with the math equations, I'm like, oh, I can't figure out what equals X. I don't know what X is. And I would call. And somebody on the other line, you give them the formula. They're like, okay, this is the principle. This is what they're trying to teach you. Now let's try to work it out. And they would, you know, ask you questions. Of course, it's a phone call. It's not like you could do a Zoom call back in the day. That didn't exist. And they're like, okay, this is what you need to do. And you know, they helped you work it out. Do we have anything like that here in Cayman? Is there any after-school program, any hotline number where kids can call and get homework assistance? You see, these are the kind of programs that I struggle to understand. I'm 51 years old, for God's sake. This was a good 40 years ago. These things existed elsewhere. Why don't we have them here? So Amy, I support what you say. That for a country that boasts such good finances, first world, yada, 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 we have too many things that are actually indeed lacking that should be there to support our children. Oh, Miss Jennifer, your daughter said it. Well, you know what? I'm going to get you 2 tickets, honey child. I'm going to beg you I got to beg some more tickets from him. I'm going to say we need 2 for Jennifer. All right. Well, I got 4. Jennifer, I'll give you 2 of the 4, and then I'll try to beg him some more. Okay? Because I done gave out the 4 by my calculations. You see, you don't need algebra to be able to add that. That's 4 tickets already if I give you 2. All right. Improvements to come. Okay. So Miss Debbie, good morning. Says, have you reimbursed Gigi the outstanding money? Yes, honey child. She said, speaking of kitty banks, have you reimbursed Gigi the outstanding money and the sum of $20 yet? Inquiring minds want to know. Girl, I'm a woman I try to be a woman of my word now. You know, sometimes it takes me a minute because I'm so busy. But yes, I found $20. Actually, the funny thing is I had some US money stacked away, but I couldn't find it when I was at the airport. So when I was packing stuff away, I found $20 and I took it out and I gave it to her. And child, she was running around telling me, I got my $20 back. And I told her, I said, now listen, put that money in your piggy bank. You got to put it away. Teach your kids to save their money from early. All right. Here's an interview with the staff from the Juve play again. if you have an opportunity to do it, you know, the Cayman Drama Society is nonprofit. They make no bag of money. Please go out and support them if you can. All right, folks, enjoy this. And then tomorrow we'll pick up the conversation with a few other things that I know was on today's agenda, but we didn't get to. All right, folks. So we are here today with an amazing cast for the new play at Juve. Now, we're going to get some details from the director in just a second about all the details of the play. But wow, this was really phenomenal. I can't believe that a play this sort of full of a complete storyline had such a small cast. How did you guys, I mean, how did you manage to do it? You're playing multiple characters at times. So tell us a little bit. Let's start on this end.
Oh, no.
So you play a character by the name of Nisha.
Yes.
Very close to your own name,
Yes.
Misha. But tell us, you know, a little bit about the process and obviously, you know, what you're feeling today. This was a full dress rehearsal.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, so I was working one night.
Yeah.
And I saw this ad pop up on Facebook, and they said they were looking for someone like my skin color with the name Nisha. And as I was reading the description of the ad, I was like, this is me. They're looking for me. And I messaged a couple of people on that ad. It was so easy. It was smooth. And they said, oh, you need to email Judith, the director, and just let them know that you're interested. For me, when I just looked at it, it was like a joke. I thought it was like, this would be hilarious, Nisha, and then my name's Misha, and everything's just matching.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't think anyone would look for an Indian skin-looking person in the Caribbean for a play.
Right. It was made for you then.
Yeah. Yes. I was like, no, this has to be me. But then again, I didn't believe it as much as I read it, and I emailed the director, and then 2 days later, I think that the next day I was called in for an audition, and there was another person with almost the same name, and I was like, okay, this is even more, it just gets hilarious by the day. And then finally, 2 days later, I actually got an email and said, you're in, you got this. And
okay.
So yeah.
So good. And is this your first time acting? Do you have any experience? Like, tell us a little bit about.
No.
Wow.
No
okay.
experience acting, but I've done news.
Yes.
For the #1 news channel in the Cayman Islands.
Oh! we're aware a little bit.
So yes, I've been mostly a news presenter, but not an actor, and this is my debut in a theater, and I'm so excited.
Awesome.
I have to add, I couldn't have done it with this amazing people here, and the cast and crew. They've helped me so much, support me with no experience, got me in and said, you can do this. And these two have been my pillars of support. I've had breakdowns. I've gone through all of that, and just learning the character. And as you've seen, the play is so intense, with emotions going up and down, and you can relate to so many things in the play, just as just a person in public. You know, you go through all these things, not fitting in, and all of that.
Absolutely.
So I could relate to so many things, and a few doors open in my heart too. So I'm really excited. And that's enough of my talking. Enough of this nitty gritty.
So real life transformation. Let's move on down the line.
Hi.
So your character's name
is Jade.
It's
a split role between myself,
yes,
Kayla, and
so
Ashley.
come on over, Ashley. Sit next to her for a second. So when you say it's a split role, some nights you're going to play.
I have some nights, and then other nights we'll go to Ashley.
So what's it like watching your alter Jade play?
It's fun because we're two different people, so we bring different things to the role. But it's been a privilege to be able to create the character together, and then see, you know, the different things that kind of go on that we might do differently. It's really cool, and it's really special, and I get to see another show each night, you know?
Yeah.
So it's cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you play actually multiple characters at the same time, which was kind of interesting to watch you transition between those. So what was the process of, like, how do you work that in your head of how to do that?
I think we're all grateful we had months to do this.
Yes.
So it was embodying and discussing and doing trialing different movements, really, and then checking with Judith. Every half change was like, Judith, how does this look? Right. And sometimes we just wait to see if she picked up on it, see how sharp she is as a director, as she is, of course. Yes. She's always telling us like, yep, so I noticed this, and this worked or it didn't work. So, whatever the director says is set in stone. You have to take it or leave it.
Right.
But yes, it took some research because it's different accents, and it's for you to fully embody a character, you are giving them a backstory that is not necessarily portrayed for the audience. It's just your understanding as the actor.
Yeah, and is this your first time acting, or you?
This is not my first time acting.
Okay.
This is my 4th CDS show production, and I'm just so grateful to have been trusted with the lead role.
Wow.
This is my first lead part.
Oh, so wonderful.
And it wasn't the simplest lead part.
No, it's pretty
transitioning
complicated.
into like 7 other people. So
yeah, absolutely.
My backbone for this, working on this project, has been Wendy, without a doubt, who plays Nads, her best friend. And it's apparent, I think, when you see us on stage together. Yeah. The amount of hours that went into this, and the amount of emotion when we really dug down, and then sweet Misha. We were so excited the day she showed up. We were just like, it's her. That's her. Yeah.
All right. So I didn't get to see you, but I'm sure I will come back on the night that you're going to be playing the role as well. So yes, definitely. But, obviously you've both been rehearsing and getting ready for this play. What elements do you think you'll bring that maybe is going to be a little bit different from the other Jade?
I think that's a tough one, because I'm not necessarily, I don't see myself up there,
Yeah.
I would say that's kind of a hard question to answer. But I think what we both bring is just fun to the role, and that's something that I look forward to doing each time I get up on stage and when I'm watching her perform as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So any special tips on how you prepared for it?
Yes, I just do a lot of research. I make sure that I comb through the play as much as I can before, if I have the time to do that.
Right.
And I'm stretch. Stretch.
Yeah, I must say, all of your dancing moves were good. We're gonna get to you over here in just a second. But yep. So I mean, the roles, especially for you, and then we're gonna talk about you here in a second, physically demanding.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, dancing and movements, and playing different characters and running up and down, and not sounding out of breath when you do all of that with your lines. So were you doing anything extra to kind of physically get prepared for this?
Yeah, we have. And we've been meeting up at the coffee shop and eating sweets, so that helps.
That's the real recipe for success.
That always helps, right? Yeah.
Awesome.
But we do warm up. Judith is very good at choreography.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Wow. All right.
The moves that you see are hers.
Yes. All right. Let's speak to the director a little bit. Wow. How many plays have you directed? This sounds like number 50, but tell us.
No, just one before.
This?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is my second production for the
Okay.
CDS. Last year I did Beef No Chicken.
Right.
By Jared Walcott. So this is my second one.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, congratulations. I mean, this is an amazing team, and obviously they're saying that you were the backbone to this. So tell us how you support all of the actresses that are here. How do you motivate them? How do you get them to zone in and what they need to focus on?
That's a really good question. Well, I can talk about a little bit about how we kind of started. So we all kind of start with an introduction, read through, take the time, go through the work, talk about the importance of the work and any questions that pop up, discussions, difficult topics. And I think that brings a level of kind of commitment from everybody to, executing the story in the best way possible, or to the vision of the writer who is based in the UK. And then from there, we do our rehearsal process. A lot of it, because there's so much dancing, there's so much transitioning into different characters, there's so much movement. A lot of it was trying to prepare for the physical aspects as well as the emotional and dialogue aspects of it. So heavy onto making sure people take care of themselves, warm up, stay hydrated, do their vocal warm-ups. And then a lot of it's part motivation, but they also keep motivated themselves as well. And sending notes to people, one-on-ones, and love voice notes. You're doing great. You're amazing. Those types of things, and supporting where we can. We have a wonderful artistic director, Kirsty, who provided some support. The character work and stuff like that. So that helps as well.
She snuck out.
And just overall, there's such a good team. Like our crew are very supportive. Our stage manager, Sin, is wonderful. I think having that team there really helps keep everybody motivated.
Because there's a lot that happens behind the scenes. Sound and lighting and the whole, everybody changing out the scenes. And so, that's fantastic. All right, DJ in the All right, so DJ Rhythm Rebel, I must tell you, you were there, the music was popping, but then when you came out in this outfit, I was like, yes! I know, right? Hold on. Let me step back. We got to get like a full view here. Okay, so the outfit stole the show at the end for me. I absolutely love it.
Thank you.
So, did you have any input in the music selection, or how did that part work?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. It was all Judith.
Okay, all right.
So I went along with it.
Now that looked like a big sound system up there, a big board. Were you really like moving anything, or? You were just looking and playing the part.
I was just playing the part.
Oh my goodness. Absolutely love it. And I love the sunglasses. Where can I get a pair, please?
I'll hook you up. Don't worry. I'll hook you up.
No, it was good. You were setting the tone in the background for so many of the important scenes. So really job well done. Come on over. All right, so Miss Mads, still got on your full costume, your full gear here, looking amazing. So, the dialogue centers around you, and it's really, really interesting to see you go through a range of emotions. And it's quite a complex character, actually, when you, figure out what's really going on. Everybody thinks, this play is just going to be about a good party scene, and then it gets way more complicated than that. Yes. So how did you emotionally prepare for this character?
Oh, wow. Definitely doing the research for sure. Digging deep, and then once again, like what everyone says, it's just a little piece of what everyone stated. Coming together, reading the script, doing the research of the different situations, because this is a real, true play. It's really surrounded around true matters and things that have really happened. Yep. And there were so many light bulb moments that we had that as we dug deep into each character, we were like, wow, this is what it really means in this very moment. And trust me, man, I like what everyone says, like, it's just been an amazing experience working with everyone. Yeah.
Have you ever been in Carnival before?
I did it one time. One time, but this is my first time wearing feathers, so I feel
You did well. So anybody here not a dancer that had to learn to dance as well? Oh my gosh, really? Yes. Yeah, Anisha had her hands raised. So you had to learn a few moves. Yeah. That's added a degree of complexity to the whole situation.
Right.
That's crazy.
She broke my backbone and everything. I'm joking. No, but it was good. Judith really helped me with the dance moves as well. Like, okay, you can do this, and especially the warm-ups and everything. She's choreographed everything. I feel like I'm actually...
You ready for next year's Carnival?
Yeah, I will.
For the real thing.
It is. But back to the lead.
So what an amazing team here. So let's talk a little bit about what we can expect for the shows, some show dates, maybe how people can get tickets. Anybody else wants to jump in as well?
So yes. The show opens August 29th. And it runs right through till September 14th, and it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday of each weekend up until then.
Okay.
And you can get tickets at www.cds.ky. That's our website. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Fantastic. Well, congratulations
So
to
see you
everyone.
there.
Thank you. Job well done. We really, really
you so
enjoyed
much.
the performance tonight.
Thank you.
So I'll be back.
Cayman Drama Society presents Juve by Yasmin Joseph. This play about Notting Hill Carnival will be performed at the Prospect Playhouse from the 29th of August to the 14th of September. Come join the Dean, Jade, and Nisha on the road as a DJ drops the beat and the girls both lose and find themselves in the music. The show takes us on a moving and fun ride through the streets of London and the history and emotions the carnival symbolizes. Get your tickets now at www.cds.ky.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth on Bobo 89.1 FM. Cayman's #1 talk show is live weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Never miss an episode again. Watch anytime on CMR's Facebook and YouTube channels for the latest show episodes. Don't forget to follow us online on our social media channels and visit CaymanMarlRoad.com for all the latest news and community happenings.